I'm sad.
Alright, here we go. They should be able to hear us now. Say something.
Excuse me. The fallen leaves tell a story. The great Elden Ring was shattered, and our home across the fog, the lands between. Now, Queen Merica the Eternal is nowhere to be found, and in the black night of the Black Knives, Godwyn the Golden was the first to perish.
Ooh.
Soon, Merica's offspring, demigods all, claimed the shards of the Elden Ring. The mad taint of their newfound strength triggered the shattering. A war from which no lord arose. A war leading to the abandonment by the greater will. Oh, arise now, ye tarnish, ye dead who yet live. The call of long-lost grace speaks to all of us. Horalu, chieftain of the Badlands, the ever-brilliant Golden Mask, Fia, the deathbed companion, the loathsome Dung Eater, and Sir Gideon Nothnir, the all-knowing, and one other, who grace would again bless, a tarnished of no renown, cross the fog to the lands between, to stand before the Elden Ring and become the Elden Lord.
The Elden Lord. So, I assume since you're talking about Elden Ring, you finally got your maiden.
I got my maiden.
You got your maiden!
I'm the Elden Lord and I got my maiden.
Everyone, Mashnik's finally got his maiden. He's no longer maidenless.
Well, I don't know if she has. I don't exactly know if she hasn't had sex before, but I have a bitch, a girl, in the game.
Okay. All right then. Oh, you're saying something?
Ah.
Oh my god. Okay, this is a in-game area. Okay.
What you playing?
I'm playing Assassin's Creed Origins.
Ah. Well. All right then. Okay. Oh, hey, anime guy. All right, let's see. Look who's in the chat here. We got Ray. We got Servant, and Comet's in the chat, but he's not here to come with us. Sorry, Comet. I sent the invitation to this restaurant, but you didn't come, so you know. Where's
He's
the
in
music?
Orlando right now.
He's in Orlando. Where's the royalty-free jazz? Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
By the way, hey, where are you? Where are you in Florida?
Miami.
Darn it, he's 3 hours away.
Comet he just couldn't leave that precious butterbeer.
Alright, here we go. Now we got the royalty-free jazz going. Thank goodness. I don't know who's running this place anymore. I guess us. Since we always stay the longest.
I asked... enough with this jazz. I asked for the musician to play a Dominic the Christmas donkey 3 hours ago, and I expect my Italian greaseball songs.
Well, I would love to play it, but I think we will get copyright strike, so... Oh well. Anyways, completely unrelated before we begin the actual show, my arachnophobia probably is gonna be even worse from this point forward. I sat down on my couch just to like rest. My neck felt weird.
That's not good.
There was a spider crawling on my neck and I fucking flipped. I no joke, like I was like, I flipped, like just, oh my god, like I'm just like brushing my entire body, so yeah, spiders, I don't like them, I don't like them, no, I don't care if they're quote unquote good for the environment, I don't like them, get rid of them all, I refuse to believe they're God's creation.
Don't worry, Changus.
Changus, let me explain something.
Never go to Australia, Changus. It might rain spiders.
Let me say this, Changus. Considering recent events, I would love to have a bunch of spiders so that they can do their fucking job.
If I could, I would be glad to trade all the spiders in my house to you. I don't know what you would give me in return, but
dude, no, you do not want to trade me.
You don't.
You really do not want to trade with me.
I know about your situation, man. But yeah, no. Fuck spiders. Also, completely unrelated. That I was also, while cooking dinner, I was watching this video. I forgot who the guy's name was, but his whole thing in the video was he was breaking down the original Transformers theme song, like the original theme song from like season 1 G1, and he was basically saying, this is fucking weird, like, because I mostly understood it because I had some past experience with music theory, because remember, when you're an Asian kid, it's Stephen He's video. Remember, when you're an Asian kid, Asian parents will force you to pick up an instrument, whether it be guitar, be the violin, piano, or even better, all of the above. I played guitar and piano. But like,
I would love to do drums sometime.
I actually did drums before. I don't know why I stopped.
Drums seems like it'd be really fun.
Drums can be fun. Well, drums are the most important instrument in any.
It's the heartbeat.
Yeah, it's the heartbeat, which is really weird. Cause, you know, I should have a button every time I bring up my Seattle friend. Like, I don't know what a button would be for. Seattle. It's always raining. But like, he's a musician, but the thing is, he actually doesn't really like basic music theory, so a lot of his songs are kind of experimental.
Yoko Ono-esque?
Yoko Ono-esque? I don't know, but one thing he said was he hates drums, because he finds them basic and boring. Like, there's nothing exciting about drums.
He's gonna make some interesting songs. Then
he's gonna make some interesting songs. I just remember, like, jazz. You never listen to any jazz. You know, they go pretty ham on the drums.
I don't know how that would end up.
A
song without drums.
I don't know, but he does. But like I remember telling, like, the point of drums isn't to be all flashy like a guitar solo. I mean, you could do that, but it's not the point.
It's to set the rhythm for the rest of the song to follow up on.
Yeah, you're not doing anything exciting, but you're the most important part of the band.
You're the core.
Exactly.
You can't exist. I don't know. What instrument is he gonna use for a substitute for drums?
I don't know. I don't know, but I just remember.
Hey, Changus, why don't you ask your friend for some of the music?
Some of the music?
I
mean, I remember he put some stuff on Bandcamp. I could look it up.
Okay.
I mean, like this. Then again, like, this conversation we had about drums was like a while back. Maybe he changed his mind. I don't know. I just remember we had a conversation once, and he's just telling me he doesn't like drums because he finds them basic. And it's like, that's not the point, though. The point is they're the rhythm machine. You gotta keep a tempo. That's what the whole point of drums. Anime Guy says drums set rhythms. Have you not heard Stormtroopers from Sabaton? Look, I still need to listen to Sabaton, okay?
What?
I just haven't found the time to listen to them.
Failure.
Yeah. Oh, don't. Okay. Wow.
I like Sabaton, but they're not the greatest thing in the world. They're pretty good.
Jesse says crush.
They are with their music.
Like, again, it's like the whole point is, you know, I look. Okay, servant. I'll go listen to Sabaton after the podcast. I'll do that. The point is that I'm trying to nail in home is the whole point is that drums aren't there to be exciting. They're there to keep the tempo, the rhythm. Without drums, well, you're gonna have to find some other way to keep the tempo. So, like.
Well, Changes. I guess the question we should be asking now was your friend rushing or was he dragging?
Were you rushing or were you dragging? Hello. Lenient.
I don't get the joke.
Is
that a movie reference?
Yeah, it's. Oh my god, I can't believe. Whiplash. Fuck, the movie title went over my head. Yeah, it's Whiplash. It's a reference to Whiplash, or as the Germans call it, lenient music teacher.
Oh my goodness! What? The Germans are that hardcore with their drums?
I guess, but you should watch Whiplash, though, Ninja. Whiplash is a good movie. Yeah, everyone should watch Whiplash. That's the movie recommendation of the night. Besides everything else we're talking about, watch Whiplash. Whiplash is good. Actually, I'm surprised none of us have done a 2 cents on Whiplash yet.
Well, Whiplash doesn't cross my interests.
I wanted to do a 2 cents on Damien Chazelle's previous film before Whiplash. It's a film about Frodo. I don't know why I'm forgetting names today.
Elijah Wood.
It's a film about Elijah Wood as a pianist. Who is threatened by a note saying that if he stops playing at a concert, then he dies.
Huh. Interesting. Okay, that actually sounds interesting. All right, but yeah, I'm gonna. Well, let me actually write that down real quick in the background. Just says I don't know when. Just future. Damn, my goodness. Spell future 2 cents. Whiplash.
Ooh, Bayuk.
There we go.
You need to clean your house.
Who needs to clean his house?
Bayuk, the main character from Assassin's Creed Origins. There's cobwebs everywhere.
Ew.
Yeah,
it's just a.
It's his worst nightmare.
It's the damn bitch you live like this meme.
No, he abandoned his house for years.
Oh, but still, it'd be funny though. It's just damn bitch you live like this. Is welcome to my home, and it's just a picture of Muscle Man's trailer. Racist. Instead of being obsessed with pics of Spider-Man, J. Jonah Jameson's obsessed with drums. Yeah, that's Whiplash. That's the plot of Whiplash. No, but seriously, I say everyone should watch Whiplash. I cannot there's a lot of movies I want to recommend. Yeah, Whiplash is one of them.
So Matchstick, what is Maidenless the new humanity? And what's the deal with that ring? You gotta tell us.
Oh shit! I forgot to post a lineup in the background. God.
It's
Well,
I see it on. I see the. It's Ninjado's going first, right?
I had Ninja going first, but if you, but you know,
Yeah, I don't mind.
yeah, but
I don't mind going first because
No,
it
but
leads
then
into.
but then again, both topics can lead into one or the other.
Yeah,
So,
like I don't mind.
all right, if you don't mind going
All right.
first, then we could. You could go first. We could start off with the big brain, and then we could talk about being maidenless.
Here, all right.
Are we starting with me or
If you want to start with you, then we can.
Matchstick? Or do you want me to start?
Rock, paper, scissors.
How would we do this over call?
I don't know. Just call.
Overcall.
Just
Yeah.
call out what you got.
I don't know, maybe post it in the
Change.
post an
Change,
emoji.
yes.
I have the other one picture.
Here, you know what? We'll sell this with a coin flip. How about that?
Okay.
We'll do a coin flip similar. Nijao's heads, Matchsticker's tails. Best 2 out of 3. Alright. Heads, that's 1 for Ninjato. Oh, that's 2 heads. Okay then. We're gonna start with
All
big
right.
brains and then we'll go into maiden talk.
Alright, let me just pause the game, even though I'm in the open world, but whatever. Okay.
Alright, so big brain time.
Yeah, this has been kind of in my mind a bit. Oh, Sooner just posted a beautiful picture of Chung-Li. Sorry,
Alright.
Distracted by pretty woman.
Okay. Alright, so
Okay.
so your whole big brain was storytelling and how it's
Versus lore.
versus lore. So tell us what's the big deal behind that?
Essentially, I've just been thinking about it. Like, I've been thinking about Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, like the Rings of Power, of course, and also talks with Matchstick about Elden Ring. And
Alright.
and just thinking about how Chad got in trouble with the Elden Ring community because he dare criticize Elden Ring for not being perfect in the way it presents its story.
Okay.
And
Story.
yeah,
When does a From Software game have a story?
well, that's the thing.
It has lore, and then you kill everybody in that lore.
Exactly, and you see, that's kind of the thing is that like Shad was more of like, yeah, it has awesome lore, like the stuff when you find out about it. And he wished the game would have done a little bit more, much like how the gameplay kind of helps guides the player a lot, ease the player into quote unquote like the main gameplay of Elden Ring so smoothly. Does that similar thing, like adds a little bit more quote unquote story to what you're explaining, because as the Souls games kind of progress, they kept on they're adding more and more stuff to the presentation side of the games in terms of like how the bosses and even the introduction. But anyway, so I was just thinking about that, and there is times, honestly, when lore gets in the way of story.
Okay.
It's like when I define lore, essentially. So when it comes to storytelling, is the story, the characters, like
Right.
what's happening, and the point. What's happening leading up to like a specific point, either it's a thematic point or like, the end point. While the lore is what is world building, which can be tied to like previous stories from like other series, if it is just part of a universe.
Okay.
For example, like IDW Transformers, like reading Last Stand of the Wreckers the lore is IDW Transformers, but the story is Last Stand of the Wreckers.
Yeah.
Right? And a lot of times people focus way too much on lore and lore accuracy, like being from a guy from history who's a history nut, a little bit too much.
Ironic.
Yes, the irony. It's like somebody who's autistic about.
Ironic. He valued the accuracy of history, but could not make that accurate to the lore.
Right? Like, for me, lore is like spices.
Okay.
Like, if you're thinking of food, so you got, whether it's like a meaty food, the salt, it's salt. Or you want to have a sweet food, the lore is like a sweet, like sugar.
All right.
And the thing is that you can easily overdo it. And it ruins the dish. It gets into the way of potential. Like, for example, Uncharted. Uncharted does not have a lot of lore in it. Like, if they focus so much on lore,
it doesn't really need to have lore. It's like Indiana Jones. You get your little city from mythology. You go to it and you blow it up. Or like Assassin's Creed. Earlier today, I was talking with a servant about the Assassin's Creed lore overall. It's like how the interpretation between the Assassins and the Templars changed over time, where at first it's Templars are the bad guys, Assassins are the good guy, and then it's now more, it's like, actually it's more like Assassins are chaos while Templars are order, just to simplify it.
Okay.
To it, like they're a bit where it's like it's about the balance between them. They need to balance each other out, because if either side wins, the world's gonna end.
Huh.
It leads to an apocalypse. And honestly, what is the people's least interesting stuff in those games? It's the modern history stuff that basically contextualizes the entire lore of the Assassin's Creed game series. Listen,
man, I just want to be a pirate blowing up other ships. What the fuck is this shit about order and chaos? I just want to fucking shank a guy with my cutlass.
I just want to get my wrist dagger and just start stabbing people.
Yeah, exactly. I want to be the assassin of Cleopatra.
I want to kill a whole bunch of redcoats.
Yeah. Like exactly.
Tomahawk.
My tomahawk.
And like, the prime example in my head for like a franchise that has been wrecked by lore syndrome in terms of established universe is Star Wars. Because of the way Star Wars was created, the way the lore was created, because originally the Star Wars lore started out from the comics.
Okay.
They made Star Wars comics as when the first movie came out, and they just continued it for a while. And the way Star Wars lore worked in the old days was like, the other stuff existed, but we don't acknowledge it much, unless it's good.
Okay.
Like essentially in the old days before the late 90s with Shadows of the Empire, which was the first multimedia push of Star Wars before the prequels were coming out. It was essentially whatever the writer wanted and what stuff they liked about the previous Star Wars lore, they'll do it. And then Thrawn came around, and there was a more attention to be a bit more working together on brand, because Shadows of the Empire is where you got the game, and then you got books, like a whole shebang on that. But even then, when they had it coordinated, there was some stuff that got through, and then it got basically rebooted, and then we got the current Disney canon.
Okay.
And essentially, the problem with the individual shows, like now, is like we can't make a new story without a tie to the original trilogy because they are so gun shy about making new stories because it doesn't fit the lore.
Huh.
The lore is so central that it makes the universe small, even though it has the potential to be a lot bigger. Like, there's a reason why people like Knights of the Old Republic so much, is that it manages to carve its own identity.
All right.
Just even though it's Star Wars, but it's also its own identity. It still fits on brand with the rest of the Star Wars universe.
Okay.
Before I continue, any thoughts?
No, not really. Everything you're saying sounds reasonable. So.
No rebuffs? Okay. The only like for established franchises, lore tends to get in the way, but for creatives, it's more obvious when the more you.
Yeah.
Yeah. SGD, are you muted?
Oh yeah, he's muted. Alright.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Hold on.
I totally agree with SGD with shooting. Okay. I agree with SGD.
Oh, there we go. Hold on.
I agree with SGD how the Disney canon's problems, but
let me just real quick read what SGD wrote. Since okay, so the D canon, so D, which is Disney, the Disney canon lore really shot itself in the foot. You can't have
excuse me, Changus.
Yes.
I can do a better impression. But hey, mate, the D canon lore really shot itself in the foot. You can't have a significant battle between the rebels, resistance, and Empire Force orders between the Battle of Jakku and the firing of the Starkiller base.
What was that even? Was that even still Australian?
No, I fucked that up. I fucked that up.
It started off as Australian, and all of a sudden it turned into some kind of, I don't know what kind of southern accent going on.
Oh my god.
Hey,
I haven't done the Australian accent at length yet.
Look, come on, he wasn't speaking Australian, he was speaking clone.
Oh. You can't have a significant battle between the rebels, resistance, and Empire.
No. It's a New Zealander. It's a New Zealandic. New Zealand.
Yeah.
So core.
Yeah, I totally agree.
You can't
like
have a significant
Disney
battle between the rebels and resistance, mate. An Empire first order between the Battle of Jakku and the firing of Starkiller.
Yeah.
That's my
SGD is SGD, are you back?
Yeah, this comes from the Poe Dameron comics, which take place shortly before episode 7.
Huh.
In a novel, after the Battle of Jakku, most of the Imperial remnants went into the unknown regions to form the First Order, which I think that's why the guy in Mandalorian only has like one ship.
Okay.
Because you can't have a big conflict. You can't ban any conflict against the Resistance on New Republic. And Agent Tarek's got Lobot eyes, as in Lobot. They turned him into a vegetable for it.
Yeah, that is stupid. Like, Disney, and that's another thing. Like, so Disney took out the old canon, right?
All right.
Which is fine. If they wanted to do a clean slate, it gave plenty of opportunities to do new Star Wars stories without telling the story about the Yuzai Vong, like the really dumb stories, or Clone Palpatine. Oh wait, they decided to rip that off. And then they proceed to pick the worst storylines and bastardize others.
That's the problem with Disney Star Wars lore is they didn't want to make anything new. They just wanted to ape off the original. Because if you've ever seen the story treatments for what 7 was supposed to be, it was completely different from the finished product.
Yeah, I bet. You
Probably
know
a
what?
lot less. Probably a lot less mystery boxes.
Okay, wait. So, okay, you know what? We probably already pissed off a lot of Star Wars fans, so I might as well just ask this. I might as well ask this question now. So, if everyone's complaining about Disney Star Wars and their lore and all that, how it's like this is broken, when in reality they're just ripping off, but kind of poorly, stuff from Legends that itself isn't really the brightest ideas, then isn't that more of a problem? Just the general Star Wars lore in general?
It's more. It's kind of. It really depends on what lore they ripped off. Like Throng, for example, was a well-respected trilogy of books, and I'm pretty sure Matchstick read them.
Yeah, they're really good.
That was the first Legend book I read, without knowing there were Legends. Just, who's this blue guy? Why is he saying he's the he's the new emperor?
Yeah, and so like it really depends. Like Star Wars, because it's such a massive franchise in terms of the extended universe, you tend to have that varying quality. It's just that it has really good examples and really bad examples, and the really bad examples are more well known than the really good examples, other than like the most famous ones.
Okay.
And it's usually a lot of the more famous ones is actually tied to video games. Which ironically is one of the better aspects of Star Wars in terms of franchise.
Huh. Okay.
And so you could do that as just like wipe entire lore and then just rip it off like Disney, or you can. I'm not saying like you have to ignore lore, especially if you're doing another guy's work, like Rings of Power.
Oh, we're gonna get Lord of the Rings fans pissed off now. All right.
I'm a Lord of the Rings. You know how much I love Lord of the Rings.
I know. That's why Lord of the Dungeons exists, which, by the way, you could check out in Zhao's channel. Let me put that in the link.
Yeah, we did Sauron next week. Sauron is next week. We did Sauron's. We had me, Cengiz, and Matchstick had a fun time talking about the best dark lore in fiction.
Turns out everything he did was just to establish bureaucracy.
Alright.
Yeah, but anyway, so Rings of Power, like there are some where it's like, yeah, we're gonna adapt lore from Tolkien, which, of course, there are things that are like, yeah, it should stick with Tolkien, that because some things are we don't need to.
It's his universe,
right? Like we don't need to have long, like songs every scene, even though it's great. Like
You can have
like
it in the extended cut.
No, there was a lot more. Matchstick. The extended cut Peter Jackson did not film much of the songs.
Peter Jackson's a pussy for that.
Yeah.
Tolkien's soul comes down from heaven. Peter, why didn't you film the songs? The movie's gonna be too long. Film the songs.
Peter, you're gonna make a fucking 10-hour extended edition anyway. Why not bump it up to 15?
At the songs, Peter. At the songs.
Like they did include a lot of them.
Peter, make a Lord of the Rings musical. We know you want to, Peter.
That should have been The Hobbit, honestly, and would have made it a lot better.
Imagine if Rings of Power was just a musical.
That would be hilarious. That would be absolutely
that would actually be great. Just it's Middle Earth, but a musical.
Middle Earth, but accurate.
It's just the Fall of Numenor, but it's a musical. I would pay money to watch it.
Oh, fuck, it's Sauron.
On time, have you ever heard of our Lord and Savior Melkor?
Sauron's theme song is just a Juggernaut's theme from Deadpool, but just reworked to his. Here comes Sauron. You can't stop the Dark Lord. Holy shitballs! Holy shitball!
like Lord of the Rings, the Peter Jackson one, is like he ignored a lot of canon, like including actual events from the book. Like he changed a lot. Like there was a whole segment about going through the old forest and they meet Tom Bombadil.
Tom Bombadil.
Everybody knows about the Tom Bombadil, but then afterwards they also went to visit the Barrow-wights, which is important to the lore because of stuff the Witch King did of Angmar. But for the benefit of the story, it was cut out, and it was a smart decision. And then you had
because at the end of the day, you're not just you're adapting a book, but you got to make it work for a movie. Therefore a lot of things need to be trimmed where it can.
As opposed to.
No, I was just gonna say there are two men in this world. There's Peter Jackson, and then there's Alejandro Jodorowsky.
or John Boorman when it comes to Lord of the Rings.
Oh god, Ninja, you really need to wait. Were you there when we were watching the documentary Jodorowsky's Dune? Oh man,
that was an amazing one. How much cocaine are we gonna fit in an actor's nose?
Ninja, this is a literal line from Twitch. Please don't get mad, okay? I am literally quoting Jodorowsky himself when I say this. I raped Frank Herbert, but I did it with love.
What?
That's how he describes his Dune. Jodorowsky's Dune. The way he self-describes it is it's like if I raped Frank Herbert's Dune, I raped Frank Herbert, but I raped him with love.
If he mogged Frank Herbert, but he mogged him with love.
That's an actual line from Jodorowsky in this documentary. What the hell was that man on?
Yeah. And there is a thing called disrespecting lore, and that sounds a lot like it.
But he did it with love.
I don't think we could classify Jodorowsky's mind as being disrespectful. Just cocaine.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug. And also comic books. Comic books is notorious for having lore that gets into the way of the story.
It's either a lore that's getting in the way of this story, or the author not giving a crap and ruining it.
Yeah, and thus we have Moira Tiger becoming IDW Shockwave.
You gotta keep the core you just gotta keep to the spirit of the characters, and then that's about it. Because if you do, you get stuff like the DCAU, and if you don't, you could end up
Zack Snyder.
Really, you could end up like Zack Snyder, or you can end up like just some really fucking weird comic book where it's doing its own thing, but it is very accurate to the lore, way too accurate, and somehow it just gets really fucking weird.
Yeah. Like, just imagine now you have to write an X-Men story, and now you have to write accurate to the lore. Oh, so the X-Men are in this island, this living plant island, and they have access to resurrection of turning people into plant clones.
Listen, man, I don't want you to bring back fucking Kane and all that other Spider-Man stuff from the 90s.
Oh yeah, and also Moira Tagger is actually a mutant who had a reincarnation power, and now she's a cyborg, and she used MJ as a meat suit.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on in comics anymore.
Oh yeah, God, they killed Moira. You bastards!
You bastards!
Yeah. Like at that point, it's just like, okay, we need to just reboot it, and we'll have a clean slate. And Marvel did try in the 2000s. It's called Ultimate Universe.
It really, and DC has a thing where they have proven to themselves that they can just wipe the fucking slate clean anytime they want and reboot it. Which Marvel needs a Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Well, here's the thing.
DC, that's the thing. DC did.
Yeah, and they did it again. But they need like the quality of the comics that came after Crisis on Infinite Earths.
And also, they did it, but then it's one of those modern. Yeah, we did it, but we really didn't do it properly.
Yeah, you have to, for Crisis on Infinite Earths, you have to fucking commit.
All right. But anyways, just to get things back on track. So, ultimately, though, like we're talking a lot about lore and stuff. So what? So actually, I don't know where I was going with this.
So what? Okay, so let's just focus on storytelling aspect. So, why does storytelling is the main focus of the mirror? Like, in my broad definition, is just the actuals is what is happening and why, and to a point. And the reason why stories don't necessarily need lore is because it cares about telling, communicating a message, or communicating what the story is meant for to the audience. For storytelling to work, lore is supposed to be only supposed to be used to explain why the events happen. And for example, if you want to make a show about giant robots fighting each other, you kind of have to explain how does
giant robots? Why are they fighting?
Yeah,
just the simple who, what, when, why,
fighting, and how are they fighting? And that's like the basics, and then you have the extra spice, right? Like lore, what lore can do is just spice up the story even more, right? So if your story is just giant robots, they fight each other, and you don't explain how does robots fighting each other.
It's cool but generic. It's cool but generic.
Yeah, but then when you give a context, well, they're fighting each other because all the nations of the world are up in space, and in order to don't do massive wars anymore, they pick a fighter from each of the nations to drive mechs to fight on Earth in a tournament, and that's how you get G Gundam. And then, what's the story about? Well, it's about this guy who's looking for his brother by fighting other people in mech suits. Yes!
Very cool. Go check out G Gundam.
Yes, G Gundam is awesome. Or it's a story about a young boy who wants to become a superhero, but the problem is he doesn't have superpower. Why is that weird? Well, it's weird because everyone else has superpowers. Oh, okay. And that's how you get My Hero Academia. It's all about that extra spice, and makes the story better, and also helps with the genre, fill out the genre convention, and that your story generally fits into a specific style. It adds just more flavor. But then the problem with lore is that people, and what I've seen writers have done, they either ignore the flavor, you either ignore it or they try to add too much flavoring to it, and it spoils it.
Okay.
And then some writers write a whole book of that flavor background to help contextualize their main books.
And they just keep it secret, and then they die, and then their son releases it, and that's how we got the Silmarillion.
Yeah.
Like,
and then you got guy
is literally just Tolkien's personal notes.
And then you get stuff like Robert Jordan or George R. R. Martin who just release it as a separate book.
Man, that's a lot of pages about wieners.
And that's a lot of pages about food. Man, that's a script about. That's a lot of description about food.
You know what's the funny part about Cengiz, about the Silmarillion?
What?
Not a lot of descriptions about the environment.
Huh.
Or trees.
Okay.
Lord of the Rings is known for long descriptions about the plants and the war and how everything is constructed.
Tolkien was like, "Oh shit! I forgot the environment. Fuck! I'm gonna have to weave this into my own books."
Here we go. Long pages of the environment, tree people, industrialization is kind of eh. There we go.
And also Unfinished Tales, which is like another one, is literally full of unfinished tales. That's like really like early drafts, like draft notes.
Sauron, I shall take over Middle Earth and establish bureaucracy via an industrial revolution. Oh. Well, also killing a lot of people. Oh.
And slavery. Enslave the survivors.
Oh. But they'll be part of the Industrial Revolution. Yeah, but they're still slaves.
What does it mean to be a slave? Oh, you're gonna be having orcs over you, whipping you, and occasionally eating you?
Yeah, that doesn't sound fun.
Good thing Gollum danced off the cliff.
That's true. Okay, so then ultimately just to start sow the seed so we could weave in a bit to later topics. So how does this apply to video games?
Video games is different because of the gameplay element. The lore stuff is so optional.
Video games, it's been there since the beginning. For like those old retro games, a lot of them had a lot of trouble weaving in a story. So they just like, okay, we got this fantasy land. You're a guy named Link. There's the princess. Go to the castle, save her.
And you know how you get that, Cengiz? How do you get that point of the story?
Do tell.
You had to open the instruction book. But look.
Oh shit!
It was a massive development where you had a title cards that tells you the plot of like, you are Mega Man and you have to battle Dr. Wily.
Whoa! What's a Dr. Wily? Oh.
And that's
or even the shocking revelation that Sonic's the way where levels are sort of connected, like there's a plot going on that you can see.
Yeah. And while video games eventually did develop plot, it kind of never completely went away. That lore in the background, and then here's the story, very light storytelling.
Yeah, like really more recent years. Mm-hmm. It becomes more common where there is a story that has the most attention that anybody can play through, like Uncharted. Uncharted, like Tomb Raider, God of War, the recent reboot.
It's not really recent, since the 90s, I guess.
Well, I mean, like it has fully gone the other way. So before, there's a lot more lore stuff that you could find and that's where you get most of the meat of the story is. But now we have gone to the point where you have your story, but there's still some lore stuff, and the lore stuff is more of the icing on the cake.
Yeah.
And then Elden Ring, like, just to smooth into the Dark Souls, one of the appeal of the Dark Souls games is that, the meat of the story that you get playing these super hard games that you can just play the gameplay and really enjoy on because of the hardcore skill required to beat a lot of them is optional, and you have to actually read and piece together yourself.
Read, N-word! Read!
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then, like, for Elden Ring, like, what I said. Elden Ring, I'm assuming the rest of the Soulsborne stuff is like this, but except for Sekiro. They're all about the lore, and it's about setting up who the fuck, where you're going, and who you're killing, and why you're killing them. For example, let's see here. All right, let's start with lore for Elden Ring.
Oh, looks like we're gonna dive right in.
Is the lands between. Look at it. What does it remind you of? You guys take a guess.
Like Desolate Island?
Europe? It looks like a deformed Eurasia.
A finger.
Huh.
Oh, I see ya.
Oh.
Yeah. That is... The lore is even written in to how the shape of the land looks. For example, let's go back to the there was this planet there was this planet, and then that planet was here, the lands between, and then the lands between a lot of gods from the beyond the gray from space and stuff like that. We're eyeing this shit up like we're looking like some good shit. And eventually one came down and then planted a tree and singled out a person named America for them to be their god queen, the people's god queen of that tree. And eventually she marries a barbarian called Horlu, and Horlu has his name renamed into Godfrey to be more noble and shit like that. And they wage a war of conquest or diplomacy, and eventually just take over the rest of the lands between. There's also this place. You see that swamp area?
Yeah.
Right in the sort of in the middle.
Yeah, I see it.
That place wasn't able to be conquered, so they got this guy called Radagon, and he eventually knocked up the queen, and they had a few kids of their own, just like America.
Alright.
And Godfrey. But, long story short, America, after all the conquest, America's like, okay, we gotta conquest somewhere else. Godfrey, we're getting a divorce, and you are leading your army, much of your armies on a long march, and you're going to be called the Tarnished now to lands outside the lands between. You're going to invade the Badlands and stuff like that. So Godfrey's like, well, shit. Okay, and he leaves. And after that, there was like, okay, we need the second king, the second Elden Lord. And so she's like, hey, Radagon, you're a fanatic. Come on, get over here. and Radagon's like, okay, fuck my former wife. Not figuratively now, not literally. And so he takes him and his kids, and he fucks off over to Lindell, and he marries the queen, and they have a few kids of their own. And so, after that, eventually later on the line. The thing that America gets her power from, the Elden Ring, is shattered. And she disappears, and Radagon and all the demigod children are like, well, shit. And then they go to war.
Of course.
We're just gonna make an apocalyptic wasteland now.
All right. They're all like, okay, I'm in charge now, and they fought it out. Eventually, it was an apocalyptic war called the Shattering. And so right now in Elden Ring, it's after the Shattering, and you are coming in. The Tarnished are returning home. A lot of them are kind of like I know a lot of them are. I don't know if it's all of them, but a lot of them are. Most of them have died before, and in the grace of the Greater Will, their God has brought them back, and then they're coming back to the lands between to become the Elden Lord. And most of them have given up on that, except for 3, which is Horalu or Godfrey.
All right.
Sir Gideon Ofnir, the all-knowing, and you, Simple Tarnish. And that is the lore of Elden Ring, very simplified.
Amazing. So anyways, Elden Ring.
Yeah.
So
there is one more thing I just forgot.
Okay.
It is historical accuracy, right? Just a little bit more. Just a little bit about historical accuracy, because it does technically count as lore, and why I care about historical accuracy much.
For historical accuracy, I'm of one of 2 camps. Of you either get it really, really down right, or you just make it a historically inspired fantasy.
Right, and what I like, and that is what people really like about the Assassin's Creed games, is that in terms of the open box sandbox that you usually play around, except for Valhalla.
All right.
It's generally historically authentic.
It can't be accurate because you're going to these. Yeah,
they're recreating.
Really
they did some recreation.
They're doing a small scale Greece. You get your Thebes, you get your Athens, you get your Sparta, but they're all miniaturized.
Yeah, like for example, I'm playing through Origins, and Origins is all the locations of Egypt is there, and they are in the exact locations they would be. They just cut out hundreds of miles of desert in between them.
I mean,
so that
for
gameplay purposes,
it makes sense, because like who wants to just wander the desert? Like,
yeah, exactly. And even like people who are about historical accuracy, like for them, that is like that's fine. Like it's a game. it's still a video game, but it's like they appreciate that the creators they care that much about in terms of like the game world, where you walking down the streets, like everyone's in the proper attire. And they're doing. It looks like they're just doing normal everyday life, and it's just you just running around in your fun sandbox. And like there are some historical inaccuracies in the games, especially Valhalla, because Valhalla they just Valhalla and maybe Black Flag, because they just goes, you know what? Let's just make a pirate and Viking game.
Okay.
And much like every Viking, quote-unquote Viking history story, it's more, let's just make it so that these Vikings did everything important in terms of Viking history.
All right.
and which results, and also they get obsessed with furs and using 2 axes. And like, oh, what about your chainmail? What's a chainmail?
Yeah, but 2 axes are cool.
Exactly.
Right.
It's like, it's a fantasy, but it's not historically accurate as opposed to the real thing. But then also, like, for example, a great example for a video game that focused more on story than lore, Bayonetta.
Oh.
I'm playing. I started playing Bayonetta right now. I'm like,
What?
This is like
mistake based on your impression. Do you think it's gonna have like very good lore?
Listen, man, it is very it's like a kind of like a generic fantasy movie. Very generic fantasy movie where you got like your one side, and then your other side, and then the third faction where you are. And that's about it.
Except one major difference. The entire story is utterly insane. It's like,
yeah, but
people love it that way.
All right, Elden Ring.
All right, Elden Ring time.
Yeah. But I do like lore and stuff like that. I'm a big fantasy reader, like Song of Ice and Fire, Wheel of Time, Malazan, Cosmere, yada yada yada. And that was a good selling point for me, but once I played it, ooh, that gameplay. You had a fucking fantastic character creator where you can get stuff like a Giga Chat or Megamind and stuff like that. Yeah.
I get the question on that.
Yeah.
Can you give him a thin arms, a dad bod belly, and thick legs?
I don't know. I didn't experiment that much.
Okay.
Yeah. I know in the face you can do a lot of different stuff, but I think the bodies is just very standard. Yeah. You got a few, and then you got to build your character.
Mm-hmm.
You choose it from a few different classes where they have their preset stuff, but it's you're low level, so you have time to change it and stuff like that. Or you go with Wretch, where you're just a guy with a club and a loincloth and 0 stats. Yeah. And then, but for like the first few hours, I had no fucking clue what I was doing as I'm new Soulsborne. So I died a lot. The only other time I think I died for that life to death ratio was when fighting Millennia. Yeah, but eventually, you get the hang of it. You get your stats, more stats, and then you go up and then you find this guy called Margit, and Margit is sort of your first real taste at a big boss. And he whoops your fucking ass. And then you either go back and you level up some more. You get your NPC summons and stuff like that. And you also the big thing, the one that I did was I just stuck at it until I learned his moveset and was able to dodge everything, hit him at the right exact time. Jump and sprint away from all these attacks at the right exact time, and I beat him, and that felt so fucking good. Beating him, like that bar going down, because it was a challenge. It was really a great dopamine feeling that it really sucked. That beating Margit, I think, was the thing that sold me on the rest of this game. Because that was so much fun doing that. And then The fighting is it's very precise. It's very fluid. You're doing a lot of, the enemies you have a lot of variety of them. Each of the different areas except the mountaintops of the giants will usually have their own enemies, variety and stuff like that. And then there's the boss's variety is giant. There is like 80 different bosses here. Not all of them are unique, but the biggest ones are really damn cool. They have a lot of spectacle. It takes a lot of skill to beat them for most of them. You got stuff from like Godfrey from Star Scourge Radon, Renala, Queen of the Full Moon. You got the Fire Giant. You got all the different dragons. You got a lot of really fucking cool stuff like that. And then the location and atmosphere is fucking amazing. You got this. It's very much of like a post-apocalyptic fantasy land. And it's all the different arenas, areas, and stuff like that have their own different atmosphere. Like Limgrave is your standard kind of grasslands fantasy. You got a lot of ruins and shit like that. You know, the standard Legend of Zelda kind of stuff. But then you go to like Caelid or Lindell, and Lindell is just like, you've seen those Dark Souls cities. Yeah. Except this one is like, it's white. It has like, it's all colored white and gold, and there's a giant fucking dragon, stone dead dragon. The dragon is both stone and dead in the middle of it. And then you can go anywhere you see, you can go to. And it's really fun navigating that stuff. And Caelid is this, it's like truly the most post-apocalyptic, because in lore, Melania, one of the demigods, fought Radagon, and Radagon had the advantage until Melania decided to just fucking nuke the entire continent. And then it ended up with this red rot, that mold like rot that just seeped through the entire land. So you have red skies and like Tyrannosaurus Rex dogs and giant crows and shit like that, and tons of dragons. And it is a shit show. Yeah. And then probably a lot of the best areas. My favorite parts were the bosses, but a lot of my favorite areas were the dungeons, like Stormvale Castle, where you're going in, you have a clear direction, but you have a lot of side areas and shit like that, and it's very fun. You got like Stormvale Castle, the Volcano Manor, Hogwarts, Crumbling Farum Azula, the Halig Tree, shit like that. And each of them with their own complete different atmosphere and enemies, and it's so fun to just go through each of them. But and the bosses, the demigods, they have their own stories and their own lore and their own design. And each of them are really fucking cool. And when you fight them, it's a really fucking fun fight. And it's probably the biggest. The bosses were probably the biggest draw for me as the story, series of killings they're doing. Went on. All the different armor, the NPC story quest lines, and all that different stuff. It's really fun. It's not a perfect game. It's for being such a big game, a lot of the stuff is going to be falling through the cracks. But it is one of the best games I've played in a long time, and I recommend it to anyone who has a PC, who has the specs to be able to play it. But it's a game where it was really challenging, and I had a lot of fun with it.
Oh, nice.
Anybody else has anything to say on it?
No.
I haven't played it yet. It's staring at me like a jilted lover because because I just don't have that much time on my hands.
Yeah, because it took me fucking 130 hours to beat the game.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah,
It took a long time. It is a bit. You do, well, technically, if you really want to get the end credits, you don't. There's only like 10 bosses that you need to do.
Okay.
But for like if I did all the side quests, I did a whole bunch of the dungeon, different like little caves and stuff like that. For someone's like streaming like Ichang, I'd probably just go with like maybe do just like a boss run and maybe some of the quest lines, bigger quest lines.
Yeah.
And you probably shorten it a lot.
I wouldn't jump straight into Code Vein if you want to stream it. Maybe warm up with some other Soulsborne first.
Okay.
Yeah, but I am gonna after this. I'm eventually down the line. I'm probably gonna play a lot more Soulsborne after this because Elden Ring was so much fun. It's just which one to do.
Do you have do you have PlayStation?
Yes, Bloodborne is on the line. Is on the list.
You can also get Demon Souls because you have a PS5.
Yeah. It's like Demon Souls, Dark Souls 1, Sekiro, and Bloodborne all on the list for me to play first. And I'm just like, I have to choose between those 4.
Alright.
Because after Bayonetta, I'm going to play Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker and then another Soulsborne game. Yeah. But I think I wrapped up my thoughts on Elden Ring.
Nice. Yeah, I want to play Elden Ring soon too. There's a lot of games I gotta beat first though. But then you know. But, yeah.
You're about to beat like a few of them, right?
Like Super Roller Wars 3, I'm like on the home stretch. Where do we leave off on Sonic again? How many zones are there in Sonic Mania, Nick?
In Sonic Mania?
Yeah, how many zones do I have to clear?
Sorry, sore throat today.
Oh, you alright?
Yeah, it's fine. 12 levels.
12 levels. Okay. So I think I should be like, I would assume like,
at least if not over halfway done.
Yeah. So yeah, I should almost be done with Sonic Mania 2.
After that, you gotta do Sonic Adventure.
I will do Sonic Adventure.
Good.
Changus, do you want me to beat Sonic Mania before you do so that you quit?
No thank you, Wait, okay. Wait, we left off on, Metallic Madness. Oh wow, actually I'm on the home stretch. I looked up the levels. Metallic is just Metallic Madness, then Titanic Monarch, and then Egg Reverie, and then that's Sonic Mania. So
maybe you should do a week where you just do try to finish up Sonic and
Super Robot Wars.
Yeah.
I could do that. Yeah, and then after that, I should I could probably see if I got enough space for Elden Ring.
If not, you can always get an external storage drive, which is always a good thing.
Yeah, that's true. But, yeah, I definitely want to try out Elden Ring sometime soon. Okay. So, yeah. Alright then, so I guess with that said, if we don't have anything else to talk about Elden Ring, we could move on to reading club time. Alright, SGD. Tell us about your reading club experience.
So a while ago, I backed Six Gun Gorilla. And I got they had the option to get all of the 8 issues released at the time together, so I did that. The reason why I decided to back the comic was, Micah Curtis said like this is some of the best comics he's read in Comicsgate or indie comics. So I was like, I'll get there.
Okay.
And so I decided to check them out to see what he thinks is quality comics, because I've only read one of his comics so far. I'm still waiting on the next one. Six Gun Gorilla, Long Days of Vengeance is written by Brian Kristgau. I think I'm not trying to pronounce the last name. Of the 8 issues so far, 7 of them are done by Adrian Sabar. We'll talk about the 8th one when we get there. And it says that in the opening of the book, it is inspired by the story of Six Gun Gorilla, serialized in Wizard magazine in 1939, written by people or persons unknown. And what you can tell from the subtitle Long Days of Vengeance, this is a revenge story, essentially, about a gorilla in Civil War era America. And he's looking to avenge his found family, because he, of course, just started out as a regular gorilla until a hunting party came, killed his family, and took him as a wild animal. And then he was won in a game of cards by the ringmaster of a circus. Who then raised him like a son, essentially.
Okay.
16 years later, he taught him. He's learned how to read, and he knows sign language, and he performs in the circus as the Six Gun Gorilla, Professor Malloy's Circus of Frontier Wonders. Where, because he's a wild gorilla, but he knows how to use these big 6-shot revolvers. It's just an act. He's pretty tame.
Alright.
But then things go wrong when the circus shelters a Union spy trying to deliver secret plans to the Union and keep them out of the hands of the Confederacy. So it took me until the 5th issue to realize, wait a second, this is sounding very Star Warsy. Not there's anything wrong with that.
Okay.
But the first 4 chapters are mostly about, the Six Gun Gorilla trying to get revenge. So I'm setting up for the revenge quest and then continuing the revenge quest. Then after that point, there's more of a focus on the secret plans. And of course, because the main character is a gorilla, he's almost completely non-verbal. So, sort of in issue 7, we get more of an inner monologue from him. And then I'll get to issue 8 when we get there.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for issue 8. I actually did send an email, and because I got the Preston cover, and it's just trying to gently let him know. It's still waiting for my copy. It could have gotten lost in the mail.
All right.
So primarily, the cast is the Six Gun Gorilla Kumba, his big sister from the circus, and the Italian spy. Along with, and then we have two villains, being a mercenary hired by a
British
rich man.
Who basically has a James Bond scheme going on. So I have read it. Yeah, I have only read up to issue 7 because that's when I jumped in. So.
All right.
And I find it's really good. Like you don't see a lot of non-verbal characters in media because I think they get kind of hard to write because there's so much more emphasis on body language. And I think they do a really good job with Kumba. So yeah, I really enjoyed reading the first two. Like I read the first one, like, oh, I have to read the next one.
Oh yeah, that was me. Like, by the time I read issue 7, I was bummed out.
Oh.
I was seriously bummed out. It's like, darn it! Like, bummed out. It's like, I wanted to read more.
Oh.
Because honestly, the premise is the title. Do you want to see a gorilla being a cowboy shooting up people and being a gorilla?
He's going all Planet of the Apes. Alright, so that does lead then to issue 8. So does issue 8 live up to the hype, or?
Well, for one thing I need to mention is that, like I said, the first 7 issues are written by Adrian Sabar. Not written.
Drawn.
It's drawn. We have the same writer for all of them.
Okay.
The late Adrian Sabar.
Oh.
This month marks 3 years since his passing.
Oh, wow.
Which is very unfortunate because like the first 7 issues have this very rough style. So it gives a lot of charm and character, like helps set its own identity. But then issue 8 has Preston Azevedo, and I don't love the change in art style.
Oh, okay.
It's not just it's different from the other 7. It's just this art style in isolation I don't love for the story.
Oh. Really?
Yeah, I found the setting in the 8th issue, it's continuing on from the last 7 issues, but it's telling a different thing. Like, Kumba is like he no longer has his guns. He's pretty powerless in his situation because the Bond villain has him exactly where he wants him. And I talked about how they introduced sort of an inner monologue in issue 7. Because his father, like the man who won him in the game of cards, he told him to read so he could read the Bible. So not just to see a gorilla, he's a Christian gorilla.
Catholic, specifically.
The gorilla, whenever he fires a revolver, just monkey noises. Translation: kneel before the Lord, bitch.
So he has a bit of like moments of faith in the later issues. And like what really breaks my heart is like the last few pages of issue 8. It's like you are doing so well, and then there's a bunch of inner monologue, which is just kind of talking at the audience.
Okay.
And I really don't like it when something is dropping exposition, almost like they are talking directly to the audience. Like, you need to know this information.
Well, what is it? Just like the last couple of pages, or?
Yeah, it's the last 3. 2 or 3 pages.
Out of like 27? 25?
The pages don't have numbers. It's all like Kumba having a choice, and I think the visuals do a good enough job, but it's kind of soured by that monologue just telling you things.
Okay.
The story in the issue itself is mostly fine. They do set up for things like early on the bad guy has a bunch of hunting trophies in his mansion, essentially, and he says "Oh, I'm not a big game hunter. They were all gifts." Remember how I said that Kumba's whole family was killed?
Yeah.
Yeah, that comes back around.
Ooh.
That comes back around here.
Ooh.
Oh.
Damn.
So that's pretty neat.
That's hardcore.
Yeah, and we also find out
asshole.
Yeah, we also find out what the bad guy's real plan is, what the plans are. And that's interesting. So it definitely it looks like they're definitely setting up for the end of this arc. This might just be it for Six Gun Gorilla, but or they might do more after it. But I could see them ending it in a few more issues.
As I what Brian said is that the plan was 10 issues.
10 issues.
Yep, it's a 10-issue story.
Oh, okay.
And in general, right? It was a breeze reading through it, and it was very fun. I had in terms of a punchy comic book, read Six Gun.
Yeah, this is absolutely a great comic series.
Yeah, okay, so for my ranking of Comicscape books, of course, Angel's Awakening, in my opinion, is number 1. But this is probably I remember when I did that Angel's Awakening review, I didn't include Brian Kriskow because he was an indie comic artist. He self-published the first 6 issues before coming to Comicsgate and launching the first 7 as a graphic novel. No, 6 as a graphic novel. And so but if I would put him there, he's number 2.
One other thing I have to mention is, unfortunately, the artwork in issue 2 is very low resolution. I don't understand what happened, but it's really pixely. And that wasn't a problem with the printing because the lettering is perfectly fine. They sent off the art with a not so great resolution, and then the letterer did his job. Whoever did the lettering did their job. So I don't understand why that happened, but the other 7 issues are fine. But I definitely recommend it. In fact, you can back it now on Indiegogo. Kickstarter, not Indiegogo, which is unfortunate.
It just... the Kickstarter one, okay.
Yeah, they're doing a second chance campaign on Kickstarter right now. Unfortunately, the Indiegogo finished a while ago. That's why
okay.
I reviewed it. It takes me a while to get things.
You got a link to the Kickstarter?
Yeah, it's got 21 more days right now. So post it in the chat. You can get all 8 issues for about 100 US, not including shipping.
Which is usually an extra 10.
Okay, so pledge 100 or more, all 8 issues. I'm assuming physical, and then you could pay 25 for digital, at least for the first 7.
The first 7, and then the 8th is $5 digital. So yeah, if you're interested in indie comics, this is definitely a good read. If you want to write comics, I'd probably recommend this because it has a very, very good way to start a comic.
Oh yeah. Literally the first panel, like he actually complained about it in one point talking about it. Like it begins with a classic standoff. In 3 panels, you see a big hole in a dude, followed by the full page of the 6-gun gorilla.
Because one thing which should bother me about Mike Curtis's Inglewood is it does take a while for us to get to Elijah. Like, we see the Saint, but he's not the Saint yet in the rest of the book. So the 6-gun gorilla, it only has 2 pages and then a chapter page, and then we see the rest of the book has come to story, and it's like Xenotype, Liam. I can't remember his last name. That also wasted a lot of time, so I really appreciate how 6-gun gorilla is like, yeah, we'll give you a hook, but it's a very quick hook. And of course, the first 2 pages, you do see the rest of that situation in one of the later issues.
Alright. Okay, so... Alright then, so... This seems like so overall, it seems like both of you highly recommend this book, so...
Oh yeah.
So there's
Absolutely.
So there's the Kickstarter campaign, so if that interests you, go ahead. It's right there. Links in the chat by SGD. Okay then. Hold on. I'm trying to create a Kickstarter account. And it's not letting me create an account. Is it a wrong password or what? Come on.
Yeah, the reason I say it's unfortunately on Kickstarter, it's like a lot of indie comics will be on Indiegogo, and Kickstarter has an annoying habit of not charging you until the campaign is over.
Yeah.
Indiegogo will just take your money right away.
Yes, I am not a robot. Okay, there we go. Now we got in a Kickstarter account. Okay, now we can see this. Okay, so alright. Well, I'm not gonna buy anything just yet, but I just need to verify my. God damn it, your damn email verification. Okay, hold on. Give me one more second. Oh. Damn you, No. No! 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 Yes, here we go. Complete verification. Give it to me, Kickstarter. Okay, there we go. Now we can save. Yes, saved. Okay, there we go. There. And now now when I get the money, I can go buy those books and check it out myself. So there we go. Also, real quick, speaking of money, just a reminder that we are raising funds for Xenonix's new PC. We're almost halfway there. So if you're feeling generous, it's just there's a stream element link. I'll also put it here in the chat. Nightbot, do your thing. Oh, Chelsea already did it. Never mind then. But yeah, there's the link to the stream elements, and remember, all the tips you give me at the moment are going to Xenonix's PC fund, because he needs a new computer. So there we go. Alright, so with that said, now that we're done with reading club, we could go on to movie club. Alright, so here we go. So you're up. So if I remember, or from just basic stuff I read looking this up, this is the Coen's brothers' debut.
Yes. Originally for the topic for this show, I was going to talk about Murder Party as a part one to a 3-part journey surrounding Jeremy Blonstein's for going from Blue Ruin to Green Room, and just his just as an examination of writing human errors. But I decided, you know what, I want to, since we are going to watch on in October, I do want to leave that mute until you and Nick gets watch it first.
Okay. You want to experience true horror before you could talk about it.
What, is there any other way, Chingus? So I just decided to shift gears into another topic. Very recently, I kind of just started thinking that because not too long ago, the Ethan Coen kind of lamented ruminated on the fact that he's kind of getting tired of directing movies.
Really?
But it's like to him it's not that he doesn't have the passion for it anymore, but it's kind of that point. I think it's that point where he realizes that it's very, very much a young man's game. I think.
But the other Coen brothers are still directing, though.
Yeah, I think going forward, Joel is really going to be the singular director that.
Wow.
That they tricked the American Film Association to believing they were. So yeah, like I thought about that, and I thought, so I just went back and started just rewatching a lot of the films in their catalog again, like Blood Simple I've watched now for the 4th time.
Oh.
So it's a very interesting movie to kind of talk in the retrospect of their entire careers. Because it's a film that is by the standards in which they set later in their lives is very rough. But I can't exemplify more than how easily a creator such as themselves had managed to find their voice as quickly as they did. So Blood Simple is a 1984 story. It's a 1984 movie that serves as the directorial debut of Ethan and Joel Coen, aptly named as the Coen brothers. Although until 2004, they both couldn't share the credit for the role as director.
Oh.
So in every single one of their movies, from before then were all credited to Joel.
Oh. They didn't like take turns taking the credit, like, alright, this movie's under you, Joel, and then this one will be under me. Alright.
No,
that could be like a result of how Hollywood works.
Huh.
Because Hollywood.
Okay. I don't know how.
Hollywood is Holly weird.
I'm not gonna say I know how Hollywood works, so I don't know what went on behind the scenes. But you know, it's just kind of interesting. All this were credited under Joel until 2004. You know, when they're the Coen brothers. So you know, you was thinking like, you know, here I'll take credit for this one, and you know, you could take credit for the other one. We take turns.
Well, for them, it's kind of been like a repeating joke where Joel, even though they both co-directed and co-produced all of their movies, Joel was always credited as director and Ethan was always credited as producer. And they also used to edit a lot of their movies, which they also hid their credits under a pseudonym.
Oh.
So it's just this idea of like just this idea of having to follow a really old, probably pre-war idea of you know, crediting. It kind of served to be just a funny joke. It's just permeated their entire lives.
I don't know. It just, I don't know. I feel like, you know, obviously, you know, if it's a joke, it's a joke. But you know, it's just something that crossed my mind, considering if Joel really is just gonna be the only one directing from this point forward.
Yeah, it's like the joke kind of comes full circle. Now he's alone. So Blood Simple is, like I said, 1984. It's also the first for many other people. Actually, it's the first for their cinematographer Barry Sonnenfeld, who will later go on to be a director for such films as The Addams Family and Man in Black.
Oh.
But literally, this was a case. This was literally a case of they picked up Barry just after he finished NYU Film School.
Huh.
So it's like, you know, after he graduated, like, this was his very first project. And of course, personal wise, it is the very first film of Joel's wife, Frances McDormand.
Oh.
So yeah, like a career that's still going strong to this day.
Yeah.
And of course, less credited, but I think is still more important, is also the first feature film composed by Carter Burwell. Who becomes just a regular composer for the Coens.
Oh.
Just a lot of their filmography. So it's like, yeah, like a lot of just a lot of firsts all around the board. One second, I need to lower something.
All right. All right. Well, while we wait for not. Oh wait.
So what is Blood Simple about?
It is a neo-noir story that takes place in a very unorthodox location.
Which is
Texas.
Say no more.
Which is par for the course. Par for the course of a lot of Coen Brothers stories is a lot of their films are kind of like most of their films kind of just take place in very unorthodox locations. I mean, Big Lebowski is in Los Angeles, but who other than them would decided to make a crime mystery set in the North Dakotan town of Fargo.
Oh.
So it's like Blood Simple is a neo-noir story about the conflict between a surly bar owner and his wife and the employee that ran away with her.
Huh.
And the greasy slime ball private eye that is tasked to killing them. It's a Coen Brothers. That's a Coen Brothers fly if I ever heard one. They're the kings of taking a story that involves multiple peculiar individuals and having it snowball into something extremely astounding. I do have to mention because it's one of the glaring ideas of it's one of the most glaring things about the movie. Always watching it for me is Emmett Walsh's character. He has a name called Lauren Vest, but he's credited as the private investigator. I don't know whether it's because they didn't decide not to add it in the last minute, or maybe it's just like, oh, he's simply a character of his trope, and simply it's used to just characterize him as such. But it's like he goes around the entire movie wearing a very mustard suit. It's what I said very early on. The idea of seeing a creator from their very first movie kind of already match the style that they've more or less will use throughout their entire careers. It's just you have this man who is very sleazy. He looks like a fucking clown, yet he is he is the very dangerous threat that our quote unquote heroes have to overcome. It's very it's very familiar for them. Very familiar waters. Blood Simple has a very interesting. Blood Simple is a very interesting movie, largely because it not only was one of those few films that kind of ushered in a few changes to the neo-noir genre as a film. Like, as a an art film. But it's also like combines three things that the Coens haven't done haven't ever done together since making this movie. That like, because a lot of the undercutting of Blood Simple comes from the very low budget drive-through grade splatter films of the late 60s, early 70s. That element is a lot more like used more so than for parody than shock. It's got there's a point in the there's sort of an idea of the movie where it's just there's just like the whole last scene where the main characters are getting, the main character got shot through the heart with a squib. It kind of looks like jelly. I wonder if that is very intentional. And it's like, a scene of bloodshed, yet we made it intentionally hokey. To sort of lighten the mood, as it were. And so and a lot of the film, what I found kind of interesting about a lot of the film is how much they really learned from, they kind of really learned from their buddy / roommate, Sam Raimi. And it's there's just many times throughout the movie where they use his shaky camera technique. They attach the 35 millimeter camera to a pair of boards just to get that frantic close up shot that Raimi always does in Evil Dead. Of course, with Raimi, there's the attention to the bloodshed. But where Raimi is like, Raimi kind of presents it as a Three Stooges sketch from hell. The Coens obviously go a lot. It just goes a lot towards the end of slapstick, as I said. There's just that entire part towards the end where it's like Emmett Wall has his hand stabbed right in the windowsill, and it's like there's just this marvelous scene where he's breaking through the paper thin wall just to try to take the knife out of his hand. Hello?
I can hear you.
Yeah.
So, and kind of the interesting thing about it is, the Coens haven't done a combination of the type of noir, sort of comedy and horror like they've done with their first ever project. It's always something that's always spaced out. It's something that's always spaced out within all of their other works. Like the movie they do directly after this, Raising Arizona, is very much a raucous comedy. Mainly because they kind of wanted to do a film that's so far away from Blood Simple that's to not typecast them into any boxes.
Makes sense.
So they've gone back a lot to some of the horror silence with Fargo, No Country for Old Men, and of course, like a lot of their film, of course, films like The Big Lebowski and The Big Lebowski and the such have that obvious element, and whether homaging or reflecting on the tropes of film noirs. But this is the only movie they did that kind of combines all three. I wonder if it is just sort of that first filmmaker sort of idea where it's like, okay, you want to make a movie that just encapsulates everything you like. We're just gonna add like the comedy here. We're just gonna add like the slick neo-noir setting over here. But we're also gonna have like some inclinations of Z-grade horror over here. It's could be. I don't know. One thing I do know was it's actually kind of interesting because as far as the Coens, the Coen, like, as far as directors goes, like the Coens hadn't really made anything before Blood Simple. Like this was their first ever project. And by the terms of meaning that they are self-taught artists. They've never had a formal training. They've never had they've never had experience. So like the funniest thing about like Blood Simple is the fact that in order to get funding for the film, they basically had to make a trailer out of no footage.
Oh my goodness!
How do you do that?
They had to fabricate a trailer into its own thing, simply to get funding for the film.
Really?
It almost like, in a way, it almost becomes like clickbait, where it's like the trailer lies a bit about the contents of the film, but it's that whole thing of, okay, we're making a proof of concept, but we also want to make something to also like advertise to audiences. So it's like there's this entire trailer where they shot with buddies of theirs before they've ever gotten like their actors, actors in line. Like the if this movie happened in a very different dimension, the jilted bar owner in the film could have been played by Bruce Campbell.
Huh.
Like, because that's who they had on. That's who they had, as terms of actors to star in this fundraiser trailer. And it's just like, it's marvelous in that sort of like American dream spirit, to where you have like zero money and zero experience to just start creating something out of thin air, or simply to kickstart a project that you always wanted to do.
Huh.
Like, and of course, it's like the story behind how they had to try to convince Emmett Walsh, who at the time was a very high profile actor. Like they specifically wrote the part for the private investigator with him in mind, and they weren't going to try to what is it, like compromise on that idea. So it's like Emmett Walsh, and it's like he's that old Hollywood stogie, and it's like, he needs he demanded that he be paid in cash, because it's simply something that as he's worked the entire industry, he kind of understands the whole game, and so he needed to be paid in cash. But it's just this odyssey of the Coens having to do a ton of odd jobs in order to pay this one man who it's like Blood Simple. It's a very short movie, which I think works in its favor.
Oh no! Angry Hippo! Angry Hippo!
You're good?
I'm battling a hippo! I'm doing fantastic!
What? What's a hippo fight doing in Assassin's Creed?
It has hunting mechanics.
So you have to hunt a hippo? Good luck.
You can!
Oh, good luck. Good luck with that. Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
I was looking for a hardened leather. I thought it was a crocodile, but nope, it was a hippo.
General, don't you watch Casual Geographic? You don't mess with hippos.
Look, I thought it was a crocodile. And there's a whole pot of them.
Ninjato deals with his most frustrating enemy yet. The hungry hippo.
I killed it. So... But then now, there's a bunch of them.
Oh.
I want to upgrade my gear, okay? I want a better armor.
Oh, good luck fighting hippos.
Alright, need to kill another hippo.
Okay.
Yeah, I really recommend the movie with an asterisk.
Okay.
Kind of in that vein of this is very much is a Coen's Brothers movie. So it's like it is a movie that, like, if you've watched at least one of their works, or several, like you can see where their style always comes to play. But the actor comes in with knowing that it is a film. It is their first ever film. So there's not going to be because while the elements are there, they're not going to be fully realized until they get to it in their later age. So there's a lot of things in this movie that is very reminiscent of stuff like The Big Lebowski, or like Fargo, or in Miller's Crossing, which they will do like which is their third film after Raising Arizona. That's just like I think that is a film that I would recommend way before Blood Simple.
Raising Arizona?
Both Raising Arizona and Miller's Crossing. It's just like
there.
Because it's is because those films are a lot more refined. But if you do like this director's body, the two directors' bodies of work, I do recommend Blood Simple because it has that, again, that like the sort of unrefined sense of, okay, this story doesn't make sense, but it's still fun to tell, so let's tell it anyway. It's like the same with all their other movies, where like their stories, the story kind of really doesn't make sense when you try to tell it plainly. But like having it told to you through the sense of the movie, you start to enjoy it. Like the movie literally drops you in with the line of out here you're all alone. So that, what does that tell you? So yeah, like Blood Simple, pretty good. I think for my next topic, next week, I will go talk about like Raising Arizona or Miller's Crossing. You kind of recommend a film of theirs that.
Okay.
Just depends. And it's like what? Just depends, Shane. Would you like your Nicolas Cage first, or would you like your John Turturro first?
Don't make me choose. Don't make me choose.
The store is closing in 5 minutes.
Yeah. Don't make me choose between those two. I love both. Alright. Well, I guess if that's all there is to say about Blood Simple, I guess we could move on. If you're wondering why I'm not sounding too enthusiastic, it's because from this point forward, it kind of gets a little,
Yeah. Despair, you come to me with your poison and your misery.
Okay, let's get into concerning stuff. Well, concerning for us, at least for me and Nick.
Yeah.
Okay, so Transformers. You knew this was coming. Me and Nick talk about this shit like every night, like literally every night, like pretty much this whole week, just every night we've been just talking Transformers, because we've been writing our own Transformers show, and I can actually weave that story that the Transformers Express into this, because one of the reasons why we even came up with Transformers Express, which is the running title for our Transformers show that we're writing, me and Nick, it mostly came from the fact that, well, one, yeah, we like Transformers, and two, it was this growing concern that, man, why are we writing better Transformers than Transformers? And that does tie into this, because if there's anything that concerns me about Transformers, it's this movie. Now, this movie hasn't come out yet. No, right now it's in. It's not in development hell, but it's in some kind of development, all right.
It's probably like, because doesn't it come out like in 2024?
So here's the thing. So this movie was originally gonna come out in 2019, right after the Bumblebee movie. But then they delayed that. And then, as we all know, it never got released for a bit because fucking COVID hit us. So then, it was gonna say that this movie, they told us that this movie, Rise of the Beast, was gonna come out this year, in December. That did not happen, because this year in December comes fucking Avatar, and Hasbro does not want to compete with Avatar. I mean, and to be fair, I don't blame them. It's fucking Avatar. Like you can say,
yeah, last time Avatar was on.
Yeah, like you could say what you want about, Avatar the movie itself, but you cannot deny, like, this is. Avatar 2 is a big fucking deal. So a lot of people, and especially after, since the pandemic, restrictions are lifting now, and more and more people are going back into theaters now. I mean, have you seen the numbers for Top Gun Maverick? Like, people want to go back in theaters now. So it's with people wanting to go back in theaters now.
It's funny that they only want to watch Top Gun Maverick.
Oh, well, to be fair though, Top Gun Maverick is a great movie. It's Top Gun.
I need to watch the first one.
You haven't seen the original? Oh, Ninjato.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah.
Well, I'm legitimately shocked, considering how you were kind of like before the ending, you were so hyped about Stardust Memory, and how it reminded you that's essentially just Top Gun with Gundam.
Because of I know Danger Zone.
Well, I mean, everyone knows Danger Zone, but just real quick, the first Top Gun movie, it's pretty good. The second one, though, yeah, that's pretty good as well. It's not Kino, but it doesn't have to be, because it's just a really good movie. But the point. Oh no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, funny enough, numbers wise, Everything Everywhere All at Once beat out Midsummer as the highest grossing A24 film.
Nice. Good.
Well, yeah.
Good for that movie. It fucking deserves it.
You need to watch that.
I gotta show you that movie, Ninjato. Ninjato, that movie makes me cry, and in a good way.
Alright, want to do it tomorrow?
Tomorrow. I'll see. If you're still awake, yeah, we could find time tomorrow, hopefully. I'd love to show you that movie. But so Avatar 2 is coming out this December, so Hasbro is most likely making the right move when they say, yeah, we're not going to release it the same month as Avatar. Are you kidding me?
I will say this, what Avatar does not have. It does not have the advantage of new technology. Well, because that was one of the reasons why it was very successful. It was
True.
one of the earliest films to incorporate IMAX 3D in a
But think of this.
seamless way.
But think of this from the perspective of the studios, right? The first Avatar was a major financial hit. It before Endgame, it was the top-grossing movie like worldwide, and then for some reason Disney re-released Avatar to beat Endgame, which, in hindsight, when you really think about it, it's like, why? You own both movies. You're just gonna make more money. Who fucking cares? Which one's on top?
It's like Vince McMahon, Changus. Like he destroyed his competition. He decided I need to make my own competition in order to be successful.
It's like, oh man, Endgame beat Avatar. It's the most successful movie. Oh wait, Avatar got re-released and now that's beaten Endgame again. Well, so again, like when Avatar, but then again, that does tell you that when Avatar gets re-released and is able to beat Endgame, and you're gonna put a Transformers movie the same month as an Avatar movie, good luck. So there is that. So that I think. At least I think that's a smart decision to not release it the same month as Avatar, which is December this year. So then they delayed it to June next year in 2023. It's scheduled for June 9th, 2023. Now, this movie, so keep in mind, right? So this movie has been in development for quite a long time, actually. So this movie was actually in development kind of around same-ish time as Bumblebee, because both movies technically are a product of what happened back during Transformers The Last Night, where Hasbro decided, hey, you know the MCU? We want to do something like that, but with our Hasbro products and Transformers. So we're going to get a Transformers writer room, where we get all a bunch of, these like movie guys and writers and directors and all that. They come together to create Transformers movie ideas for us.
One of the problems is that you hired Alex Kurtzman, actually, Changus, do me a favor, name everyone they hired for that writer's room.
Okay, so
Alex Kurtzman and Robert Orsi have been around since the very first movie.
But you also gotta remember, Alex Kurtzman, he's the guy currently running Star Trek.
So
yeah.
Okay, so this is from the TF Wiki. So I got a bunch of articles pulled up to help me out here. So this is from the TF Wiki. Okay, so this is at least confirmed information. This is who they have listed for the writer's room. It was gonna be headed by Akiva Goldsman. Now, Akiva Goldsman, that's an interesting name. Because you got Akiva Goldsman working for Transformers. That's interesting. That's interesting, all right. I mean, you got the guy from Batman Forever writing Transformers, but then again, he did create iRobot, so there was that. So there was that. I do like iRobot, but so. Yeah, so fun. And funny enough, Akiva Goldsman helped write the story for Transformers The Last Night. Didn't help, obviously. So you got that. So a writer's room headed by Akiva Goldsman. And here are some of the writers they got besides Alex Kurtzman. Stephen DeKnight, Daredevil, Robert Kirkman, The Walking Dead, Art Makram and Matt Holloway, Iron Man, Christina Hodson, and who is from Shut-In, The Fugitive, Lindsay Beer, Dig, Zach Penn, Pacific Rim 2, ooh, no. And Jeff Pinker, The Amazing Spider-Man 2 and Lost, ooh. Andrew...
Lost.
Lost. What do you mean it ends in a fucking church? You also get Andrew Barr and Gabriel Ferrari, Ant-Man, so it wouldn't be a bad... That's not bad. Ant-Man was a solid movie. Ken Nolan from Black Hawk Down, that's interesting. And Gina Roberts Dworet. So they were involved in the writing process, including Steven Spielberg, Michael Bay, Brian Goldner, Lorenzo Di Bonaventura, fuck him, and Mark Varadin and Don Murphy. By the way, when I say fuck Lorenzo Di Bonaventura, it's not because I don't think he's a...
We'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to him. But let's just say... Let's just say I don't hate him. I just wish he made up his damn mind.
Lorenzo, I know you listen to this. we want the answer from you.
We want to ask: is Bumblebee its own thing, or is it a prequel? Make up your mind.
Lorenzo's also, my sister.
Wait.
Also, you haven't returned my sister's calls.
Lorenzo's like, It's like he's like, Lorenzo, the store is closing in 5 minutes.
So this movie, alongside Bumblebee, is technically a byproduct of the now defunct Transformers writers' room. They scrapped the writers' room and all that after the last night fucking tanked. Well, it didn't tank. It was actually quite financially successful. It's just it was not as financially successful compared to every other Transformers movie.
Like in the States, it's not like in the States. All the movies were kind of going through its own like falling action.
Yeah.
But we don't. But without talking about the Red Nation in the room, the films have been successful worldwide.
Yeah. But then last night released, and I think at this point it does show a lot of fatigue for these kind of movies, at least by Michael Bay. So then comes along Bumblebee, right? So the Bumblebee movie itself is also kind of interesting to when you kind of go into it, because it was also in kind of a similar messy state of development as this movie, Transformers Rise of the Beast, because Bumblebee was originally going to be a prequel to all the other Transformers movies that came out. Oh boy, how the hell is that gonna work? Let's just say the last night, yeah, ooh, I don't know how you're gonna make Bumblebee a prequel to that. But eventually, a miracle happened. Travis Knight took the helm. And what do you know? Bumblebee became amazing. It wasn't as financially as successful, and to be fair, there's a lot of issues going on behind the scenes for the reason why, mostly due to the marketing. It also doesn't help with again Lorenzo Di Bonaventura going around not making up his mind. So, is it a prequel or is it its own thing? Bonaventura, the store will be closing in 5 minutes.
Lorenzo, don't hide behind your accents and your fancy Latin American name. Give us an answer.
Give us an answer, you bastard.
Sacrabio. Lorenzo, that's not the right name. That's not the right,
You're just admitting that
culture.
you're French.
That's not the right culture. Scheiße.
Just admit that you're French, and that explains all your decision making.
But so all this has led now to the development of this movie. So all this was to state that this movie has been in development since like 2015. This movie has been in development and has been delayed for quite a bit. So my biggest concern really for this movie is, one, we don't know anything. And what I mean by that is we have very little to work on with what exactly this movie's, the quality, or what this movie's gonna be like. All we have is little things here and there that come out very sporadically, once in a while. So the development, the news of the development for this movie is very sparse, so we don't know much going on. So all of a sudden, Bonaventura goes around saying, oh, not only is this movie a sequel to Bumblebee, but it's also part of a new trilogy of movies. This is the first in the new trilogy. Which, one, Lorenzo, don't go around stating, oh yeah, we already have a trilogy planned already. That never fucking works. That never works. Saying, oh, this is part of a series of movies. That never works. Look what happened to The Mummy.
That just guarantees disaster.
Look what happened to Avatar. I think that movie didn't come out until this year.
And they already got how many more movies planned for Avatar? Because James Cameron does James Cameron want? Because James Cameron is James Cameron. So Lawrence, but then again, like when Lorenzo says this stuff, I don't know if he's saying the truth, because this is the same guy who can't make up his mind on the Bumblebee movie to this day. To this day, he still can't make up his mind. Is it a prequel or is it related to all the rest of the Transformers movies? Scheiße! So, I don't know if he's telling the truth or not. He can't make up his mind. He's probably, for all I know, he's just spewing things to get people somewhat interested in this movie. So there's a lot of stuff going on that makes me really concerned about this movie. Another thing that makes me concerned is that this movie is technically two movies merged into one. Because
oh no.
So you know that writer's room? So originally, not only were they going to make a Bumblebee movie, they were also planning on making a Beast Wars movie. And you can see in concept art for Transformers The Last Night that they originally wanted that movie to be somewhat related to Beast Wars. Like, you can see concept art of, like, a very Optimus-looking robot gorilla. So clearly they want...
who that's supposed to be.
Yeah, I wonder who that's supposed to be, huh? I don't know. But then, after The Last Night, didn't do as well as they wanted, and they scrapped the writer's room. And, after the Bumblebee movie released, they decided, okay, you know what, that Beast Wars movie, that's going to be the next movie. But we also want it to be a direct sequel to Bumblebee at the same time. Now, in capable hands, maybe this could work. Maybe. I want it to work. I hope it works. I just don't have much faith. Now, another thing that doesn't really give me much faith is who's writing it. Joby Harold. His most recent work that he's credited for is writing for the Kenobi series. Now, I have not watched... Now, here's the thing. I have not watched Kenobi myself, so I myself cannot, say with first-hand experience, yeah, I'm scared. But I am a bit concerned considering the constant contradicting opinions going on behind Kenobi. Hey, on the internet, literally half the internet is, from my perspective, I see the internet literally split in half on Kenobi. Some say, oh, this is pretty good. Others say, what the fuck is this nightmare?
So I guess as someone who's seen enough reviews of Kenobi to have basically watched it, I'm so sorry.
Oh.
Just watch the pitch. Just watch the.
Fuck.
That is enough to tell you.
Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck me.
What?
No, it's just if that's the opinion, if that's the state of Kenobi and he's writing this movie.
At least you guys are getting.
No, Chance, he's not writing this movie. It's two newbies.
Which is more concerning.
Okay, so that's
working on another draft based on.
Wait, Changis. At least instead of 100% failure, it's only 50%.
Okay, but here's another thing.
40%. We got newbies writing.
So here's another thing also. Okay, so first of all, I'm just gonna say you take this with a grain of salt, because this is from these are gonna be comparing the TF Wiki to Wikipedia, which are both, not official sources. One is a fan-made website documenting, all this stuff. It's the Transformers Bible on the internet for us, and the other one's Wikipedia, which anyone can alter, so we don't know. And already there's a lot of conflicting stuff going on. Like some people say Joby, like the Wikipedia still says Joby is still writing, along with not 2 other people, 4 other people writing the screenplay for this movie. So already there's a concern of
too many cooks.
Yeah, so there's already a concern of we got
too many cooks.
Yeah, so already there's the concern of we got too many cooks going on here. But then the TF Wiki, which is, the Transformers Bible, says it's just only 2 people, 2 new guys, writing a new screenplay based off of Joby's original story. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I don't know what's going on. We got conflicting we got conflicting messages going on here. So there's that, I guess. Now, really, there's a lot of stuff going on here that makes me really concerned for the quality of this movie. The only thing that makes me somewhat reassured, and only somewhat, is the fact that it's directed by Stephen Cable Jr., the guy who did Creed 2, and I love Creed 2. Here's the thing, though. I have no idea if Stephen Cable Jr. knows anything about Transformers, and this is just gonna be another case of Michael Bay, where it's like, hey, Michael, yeah? What the fuck's a Transformer? I don't know. Let me ask Steven. Steven, what the fuck's a Transformer? I don't know. So there's that. Obviously, so real quick, as I'm gonna go back to the Bone movie. Obviously, there's more credit to go around than just only Travis Knight. But the thing is, Travis Knight worked because, one, not only was he a fan, which, that helps, but, that goes back to the whole, an earlier 2 cents big brain we had about, what it means to be a fan and stuff. So it helped that he was a fan, but most importantly, Travis Knight is an animator. He knows what he's doing when it comes to stuff like Transformers, because he's an animator. He knows what the fuck he's doing. Stephen Cable Jr. is not. I like Creed 2. I really like Creed 2. I don't know what he's gonna do with Transformers.
Why didn't they get the creative team from Bumblebee?
Because they only Travis Knight only had in his contract room for 1 movie.
Yeah.
Why didn't they renew it?
Because they probably already got Stephen Cable Jr. by then.
Yeah, because it's like if the 2 films were being made simultaneously, then that would mean that they weren't planning on Bumblebee as being as big of a success as it was, and B, having to try to change directors to shift into a new direction.
Remember, this movie was actually gonna come out literally right after Bumblebee, 2019. It was gonna come out right after, but then they delayed it. And you know how spotty this production is. We don't really have test footage. We don't really have much photographs. We got a picture of the vehicles that the Transformers are gonna turn into. Oh, good. We know what they turn into. That's great.
Okay, so it's literally just Square Enix marketing a game. So we want to see test footage for this. No, you get storyboards. What?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Here you go. Enjoy it.
So there's the production debt, as far as we know for this movie, is just I don't know what the hell's going on. Cause honestly, I don't know anything. Okay, so here's the premise they have for Transformers. All right, so this is a premise, at least from Wikipedia. In 1994, a pair of archaeologists from Brooklyn come into ancient conflict through a globe-trotting adventure that ties in three factions of Transformers: the Maximals, the Predacons, and the Terracons. Oh yeah, Terracons is just now another faction name to slap onto anything. But that's a Transformers nitpick. So that's all we know. So what does that have to do with Transformers? Transformers.
What's that?
But then at the same time, Lorenzo's going around saying, "Oh well, yes, that is true. But the main character of this movie is gonna be Optimus Prime." Then why are they saying this human guy that I don't know about is the main character? Who's this guy? Anthony Ramos. The only thing I know about him was he was some side character in King of the Monsters. And he was also the voice for Piranha and the bad guys. That's all I know. He was also in Hamilton, so there's that. There's that. Yeah. Yeah. Long story short, I'm just really concerned because this movie is supposed to come out next year, but originally gonna come out this year, and we have absolutely nothing to work with. At least as far as we know. All we know is they tell us they're filming stuff. They tell us, but we don't see any test footage or proof of photography and stuff like that. All we got is just here's what they tell us we're doing, but they're not going to show us. Well, what can you show us? Here's the vehicles that they're going to turn into. Oh, okay. At least Ron Perlman's coming back to be Optimus Primal, so there's that. So basically, if you can't tell, I'm really concerned about this movie. Because everything that I have to work, that, me, Nick, any other Transformers fan has to work with, at least for this movie right now, is barely nothing. And honestly, the only thought that in my mind goes, is Bumblebee really gonna be the only good Transformers movie out there? Is that really gonna be it?
Other than the original.
Well, obviously the original, but I'm talking about for live action and work.
Yeah, probably.
Wow, thanks, Matchstick.
But hey, at least you guys have good TV shows still coming out. At least you still have things coming out.
Thank you, Matchstick.
Come on, you can be G.I. Joe. Have nothing come out. Ever.
Yeah, I suppose. I suppose there is that.
I said with no amount of saltiness whatsoever.
I understand. I don't know. I hope Earthspark's good. I hope Earthspark's good. Cyberverse was good. Just go watch Cyberverse. Everyone slept on that fucking show. Go watch it. It's on YouTube. That's good Transformers content right there. Which honestly is a good segue into the next topic, which also is kind of So Nick, you ready to be depressed about toys? Nick? Is it on, Nick? Nick?
Nick is full of despair.
Oh. Nick? You there? Hold on, let me tactic real quick. Come on. Alright, well, while we wait for Nick, I guess in the meantime, I guess the other thing I could work with for the movie is I could tell who the Transformer characters are gonna be in. I could tell who the Transformers characters are gonna be in the movie, at least what they have so far. Alright, so for the Autobots, we got Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, Mirage, RC, and Wheeljack. Wheeljack's getting love, finally. Then you got the Terracons, you got Scourge, Nightbird, and Battletrap. So that's gonna be...
Nightbird.
Yeah, Nightbird.
So is Nightbird gonna be a ninja?
I assume. I can only assume. Again, I have nothing... We don't... John, we don't even know what the Transformers look like. No, actually, scratch that. No, we know what Bumblebee looks like. Because, of course, we're obviously going to know what Bumblebee looks like.
Yeah, because Bumblebee is so easy to do.
Well, he's a Nissan Skyline, so that means he's Japanese already.
What about Windblade? There's no Windblade in the movie, Chelsea. Chelsea, we actually did a 2 cents a while back where we talked about status of Windblade. That's interesting. For the Maximals, we got Optimus Primal, Air Razor, Rhinox, and Cheetor. And Ron Perlman's coming back as Optimus Primal, so I guess I can look forward to that. And then human characters, Noah, Elena, Noah's mother. Wow, that tells me so much. Thanks.
Oh, I'm back. I went to go.
Noah's. Well, you see, Ching, is it tells you that she's probably gonna die.
Ah, fair enough. Oh, you're good. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I was making a segue how you know instead of being concerned, you should just go watch Cyberverse, which I guess is a good segue, but kind of also depressing.
Did we mention how there was essentially like nothing?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Well, that's the whole point of my 2 cents. Why I'm so concerned?
Yeah, there's just nothing to be excited about. I mean, you can say like Ron Perlman is Optimus Primal, but we don't know how that's gonna be handled.
But like, the biggest thing though is the movie was supposed to come out this year.
Yeah.
And you still don't have anything? Like that's like saying like, oh, by the way, we like my biggest concern is gonna be like, oh, here's the trailer for the movie. The movie just came out, and now you're dropping the trailer? What is wrong with you? So, there's that. Anyway, speaking of Transformers, okay, let's get depressed about toys, Nick.
Well, let me explain that. You all slept on Cyberverse, and I'm still mad at all of you for doing that.
I watched some of
Cyberverse. What'd you say, SUD?
I watched some of this.
Did you watch all of it?
Yeah.
Not yet.
See, you're part of the problem.
Nick, I don't have cable.
It's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube.
I'm gonna keep saying that. It's on YouTube.
Nick, I still have to go through animated.
Okay, I understand.
Okay, fair. Magic has an excuse. He has to watch animated.
I have not watched a single thing of Transformers for probably like 5 to 7 years or something like that.
By the way, how are you enjoying animated so far?
I took a break to. I'm watching TMNT 2013 to get Ninjato to watch Venture Bros.
Also understandable.
Fair enough. That's a good compromise.
I'm so behind.
You are part of the problem.
Where
Hey, I'm in the middle of season 2.
Hurry up. Well, anyway, one of the reasons obviously you all slept on Cyberverse is because, boy, those toys really were not that good initially.
Ooh. Yeah.
So, something Hasbro's been doing, and this has been in effect, like, at least since Robots in Disguise 2015, is they've been actually trying to do a lot of gimmicky toys. You know, for the kids.
The gimmicky toys, like hey yo dog, I thought I heard you guys like gimmicks, so I put a gimmick in your gimmick so you can gimmick while you gimmick.
Yeah. Like 1-step changers, 3-step changers, mega step changers.
That's a lot of changers.
Legion.
What's a changer?
Legion. 1-step changers essentially just transforms that transform from vehicle to robot in 1 step.
It's in its name. They're shitty.
Yeah. I'll get to that.
Alright. I'm interested in your reason.
And they were, I mean, it was fine-ish. Because you also had the warrior class toys, which were essentially like the figures you wanted. Because they were the ones who were basically the action figures that turned from robot to vehicle without really any gimmicks.
I guess.
And they were pretty alright. I'd say it could have benefited if that's what they were being focused on, but you know. When Cyberverse came, they decided to expand the whole idea of like gimmick transformers because we got more 1-step changers. The Legion class figures. We got Scout class again. We haven't gotten that since probably Revenge of the Fallen.
I know.
Yeah. Here's the thing, though. Problem with Scout class figures, they were half transformed. Basically, you get your robot mode, and they turn in some sort of in-between mode. Like Windblade, she had 2 Cyberverse toys. Shocking, because she was one of the main characters. One of them was a Scout class. Basically, the whole thing was you had her robot, but she basically turned into a jet with legs. Can't even put the legs anywhere. That was the whole point. Like they half transformed. Yeah. Shadow Striker. Basically, it's her car, but her head's sticking out. Genghis, I thought of a fucked up idea.
Oh no.
You know how she was always kind of getting stiff at points? This is her getting stiff during transformation.
Oh my goodness.
And it made sense.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
And you had the 1-step changers, which initially were kind of on the same level as the Robots in Disguise ones, so... They were there. You didn't really care for them. Oh, actually, also, some of them were actually just repaints of some of the old Robots in Disguise ones.
Oh yeah.
So they didn't even make new toys for them. They just repainted old ones.
Also, Nick, just real quick, just complete. I'm gonna be the one creating attention. Completely unrelated to anything about Transformers. It's fucking hot where I am. You know what? I'm just gonna wait till my parents just fall asleep, and then turn the AC back on so I don't have to hear them complain about it. Imagine complaining about the AC being on in a hot day. Fucking hell. Mashnik, how cold is your house right now?
I put my basement on 69.
God, what I wouldn't give for 69.
Oh
Please clip that out of context, Chelsea. I want that out of context.
Alright, I gotta hit to bed.
Okay.
Have a good night, man.
Alright, have a good night.
Have a good night.
Yeah, have a good night, Enchano.
It's like now that we invoke the comedy number 69, we have reached a pure comedic nirvana.
Exactly. Was if I've known, well, technically yes and no. Remember, remember we have what Javi said. The peak comedy trilogy is sex joke, weed joke, and fart jokes. So we just need to make a weed joke and a fart joke, and then we'll finally reach enlightenment.
I'm very tempted to right now to go over and turn it the AC down lower.
Oh my god, you bastard! Alright. Where were we, Nick?
Everybody else is on vacation, so I can turn it down as low as I like in any room.
Oh fuck! I wish I was in your position, man.
You have my empathy. Well, not empathy, sympathy.
Thank you, Matchstick. That means a lot.
So, much like Robots in Disguise 2015, they brought the Warrior class figures back, which, you know, on first thought, is like, okay, because the Warrior class figures and RID 2015 were essentially just that line's deluxe class.
Yeah.
However, major problem. They decided to focus less on articulation and more on gimmicks.
Yeah.
Understand, it's like the biggest gimmick of Transformers is always the fact that they can transform.
Not according to Hasbro anymore. No, we gotta do more gimmicks. I mean, not to be. I mean, not. As a Transformers fan, I have to tell you this: if the whole gimmick is transformation itself, and that was it, then the Unicron trilogy wouldn't exist.
Like, I understand. Like, I guess, like as a Gundam fan, I understand that type of thinking with okay, because it's like that's just how Gundams are presented throughout the show. It's okay. What's the gimmick for this one? Oh, it transforms. Okay. Oh, it's got a giant fuck off cannon. Okay.
What's the gimmick for the new Gundam? Its shield are funnels. Huh.
Yeah. It's like look. There, I understand, but it's like Transformers always had the singular gimmick.
Yeah.
It's an old Transformers. He's gonna use the gimmick where it's a robot that transforms into a car. Good old robot that transforms into a car never fails.
Oh my god, Nick, I know the perfect toy that encapsulates Warrior class, Starscream.
I was just about to say that. So I can understand gimmicks. Problem is, almost all the gimmicks affected the actual toy in such a way where why even be a Transformer? Because Starscream, really, all you had to do was fold his legs down and he was transforming. There are 5 step changers with more steps than that. 1 step changes. I'll get to that. And it's you can't even fucking move him well. He had no knees, and
his only articulation was the waist swivel. But that's because it was the gimmick.
He had arm movement, but yeah, waist swivel, which not even really that good of a waist since it was just all floppy and on a spring.
Because it's part of the gimmick.
And it didn't even spin that well either. And the legs, which fine. You want Starscream waddling? Good luck with that, because the leg, if you move one leg forward, the other leg also goes forward.
Starscream, why are you a Lego? I don't know.
I don't know, Megatron, help me. No.
Lego figures have more articulation than that figure.
Yeah, exactly.
Lord Megatron, I've been turned into Barbara Gordon.
So, can I say this?
Sure, go ahead.
So, I'm actually, you know what, you were probably gonna bring this up, but I just want to say this. Probably the biggest thing about Cyberverse Toys is it's very clear where their priorities were. Not only that, but also what the budget was.
Yeah. But, like, literally, I can only name, really, like, 4 out of the entire Warrior class line. They had a couple, like one wave I could fill, with the good ones, and that out of, like, the, 5 or 6 they had.
Windblade,
yeah, and that's really because it's like had similar engineering to the Robots in Disguise figure. Shockwaves, but really you're not getting him for the alt mode, which is just him on all fours. Unless you are getting him for the alt mode where he is on all fours, and then he might enjoy that.
I mean, to be fair, that was his alt mode in the show. It's just him on all fours.
Yeah. I don't know much about Prowl. From his image, he looks alright. And, Soundwave. The Ultra Class toys were big, but they didn't do much. Like Shadow Striker no posability at all.
She's a brick.
And the Ultimate Class were fine. Like Optimus was fine. I don't know about Bumblebee. But Megatron was actually a lot of people like to call him the beef tank.
I am the beef tank. Hear me.
And he always looked like he was doing a pelvic thrust.
I'm looking at the Ultimate Class Bumblebee. It looks okay. Literally, his left arm is just the entire front bumper because of the Stinger gimmick.
Yeah.
Bumblebee's got the Quagmire arm going on there. Bumblebee, you okay? Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah,
I
I'm
just
fine.
been
checking out some of that internet porn. I just want to go get some mail.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Optimus. I gotta go back.
Also, back to the Scout class. There's only one figure I'd say is like a must, and which is ironic, but it's a Scraplet. So you gotta get a Scraplet.
Wow.
Changus, the gimmick for the Scraplet figure is that when you open its mouth, there's a little turbine that has like a mini saw inside its mouth.
Well, shit. I'm tempted. Cause I like Scraplets are fun.
Yeah. And that was all like the first year. And boy, it is not promising.
So you're probably wondering, well, damn, looks like they really cheapened out these toys. Where's all their money going to? Siege.
Siege and Generation, like just the Generations line.
I
get it, it's like the collector's line, but this is like the But Cyberverse is like the
Hasbro's priorities are weird.
They really are.
So the Generations line, like the current Generations line, Legacy, they're really good figures. Don't get me wrong, but the thing is, they're supposed to be collectible figures. They're like the Star Wars Black Series before Transformers. But that's not where you're supposed to get, most of your main toys. Though I think that's kind of starting to shift a bit, considering Studio Series is a thing now. Because they're clearly gonna make Studio Series toys for the upcoming Transformers movie, Rise of the Beast. So I guess that's
if it ever comes out.
So I guess that's also one positive. I guess we get more Studio Series toys, but like other than that, like the Generations line is supposed to be for a collector's line for more mature audiences. But then but technically their flagship like mainline brand was supposed to be Cyberverse, because that's what you get the kids into. But you look at the toys, it's like, I mean, sure, the show's good, but look at these figures. Oh my goodness. What is this? It's like if I don't know, it's like what's the I don't know, it's like if I don't know, let's say I don't know, Nod, you could correct me if I'm wrong if this is a bad comparison. Let's say like for the new Gundam series coming out, Wish from Mercury, instead of a new line of like high grade kits and stuff, they just go, okay, here's like a poorly articulated rubber doll of the Gundam. Good luck.
Well, that's always been like sort of like Bandai's approach to what was it there? Some figures. Oh yeah. Yeah,
but at the end of the day, Gundam's main, flagship thing is always going to be the model kit. So imagine they had no model kits to promote the show. It's just here's like a plushie. Okay, good luck.
Yeah, we're pretty lucky. At least we get two model.
Yeah. Man, Gundam, how come your parents let you have two model kits?
Pretty soon, I'm looking to have a third model kit. I'm looking to have a third model kit when the villain joins up with the hero.
So, and later that year, we did see somewhat of an improvement with like the Spark Armor figures.
Yeah.
Because at the very least, they were small, but they were fully transformable figures that you could add armor pieces to. And
Warrior Class Deadlock is kind of weird, though.
Yeah, but that was also year.
No, Deadlock was year 2.
No.
I thought it was.
Nope.
No?
No.
I don't know anymore. Look, I don't know anymore.
I'd say the next year, though, 2020, actually somewhat of an improvement. First of all, while the Warrior class were a good number of them were just minor retools of previous figures, you had figures like Hammerbite.
Oh yeah.
And believe it or not, their second go at Starscream.
Huh.
Pretty still a lousy transformation, but at least this one can move its legs.
Oh, he's got the Cybertron Starscream gimmick with the swords.
Yeah. You also I'd say where 2020 really shined was the Ultra class figures. Because you got Skull Cruncher, Rack and Ruin, and Clobber.
Oh yeah, Clobber.
Also, they actually had a couple one-step changers that are really good as well.
Really?
Like Repugnus.
Oh.
And believe it or not, Whirl. Who actually is... that's a lie, because Whirl does not transform in one step. you got at least, like... you got 5 at most.
He's a 5-step changer.
Yeah. You know, he can't move his legs, but for what he is, he's really nice.
Huh.
And you got the Battle Call figures, which, while also gimmicky, and, you know, kind of has that bit of cheapness, because they basically, you could pretty much tell how they transform just by looking at it. At the very least, you know, they got posability, which, you know what? Really, you just need posability, and for it to actually transform to an alt mode for it to actually be considered decent at this point, because, man, Cyberverse really couldn't do any of that for the first year. However, their biggest, like they added something that helped this line so much, and that was the deluxe class.
Oh, deluxe class.
Like actual transforming figures and no gimmicks.
Well, they came with a few accessories.
But that's not really a gimmick, though.
Would the build like the buildable McAdam thing be a gimmick, or?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a gimmick. It's not built into the figure. Like, there's no gimmick that like damages the figure.
Okay.
And they actually continued it back in 2021 with even some also good warrior class figures like Dead End. But by 2021, it was already too late. The line was kind of ending because they only pushed out a few things and only had a couple like re-releases.
The show was like done.
Pretty much only had the two specials left.
Do you know what this Transformer figure can be used as?
A hat. And yeah, essentially, it's just by then it was already too late. The Cyberverse was done, and this is actually my topic is actually a companion piece to the other Cyberverse topic I did, where I'm basically complaining that you all slept on Cyberverse.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it just I think because of that initial like year where like there was just you had to scratch to find some good stuff. It was dead on arrival, arguably.
Man, why is it the good shows get bad toys and the bad shows get good toys?
Oh no.
Like the Siege, like the War for Cybertron trilogy figures, those were some of like the best Transformers figures, like in like a really long time. Like they really upped their games with those figures. And then you watch the show, and it's like, Nick, if we ever do like a real-time like fandom abridged of War for Cybertron, I already know what the main like, I guess quote-unquote plot will be.
What?
It's time to contain the China virus.
Oh, it's great.
Nick, you have no idea how many times I've quoted that, for the past few days. I don't know why. Just once in a while, like when I'm really bored and I have no one to talk to, I just Autobots, it's time to contain the China virus.
That's great. But yeah, Cyberverse kind of, that toy line just, it got better, definitely, but because of how it started, you could argue that was part of the reason it got. I'd say there were a couple of reasons why Cyberverse, in a way, failed. I'd say this is one of them.
Well,
toys didn't grab people.
Well, because at the end, that's actually, I would say that's probably the major reason. Because remember, at the end of the day, these shows live and die by their toy lines.
Yeah, it's a toy commercial.
It's a toy commercial we love, but they're toy commercials nonetheless. If people don't buy the figures, they're not gonna produce any more episodes of the show. They're gonna pull the plug.
Yeah.
Which begs the question, if that's the case, why'd you come out with such a weak start for toy lines then?
Do you think maybe it just it could also boil down to the fact that who cares about quality for children? They
Oh yeah.
That's probably a big thing. I mean, that's probably why the one-step changers exist in the first place. Because these toys are way too complex for kids. No, they need something that could just become a robot in one step. And now the thing is, at least from what I've seen, admittedly, there is a market for it.
Yeah.
But then the thing is, when that's your main thing,
it's disappointing. And Cyberverse cat was this toy line, despite ending strong, went out with a whimper because it started with a whimper.
Now
that said,
the
next show, Transformers Earthspark. I could say that there was at least one good thing to come out of the terrible first wave of Cyberverse figures. They learned their lesson.
Or at the very least, it appears they've learned their lesson.
We need some optimism, Changus.
I'm being optimistically cautious, Nick. Someone has to be the cautious one here. But,
because for the Earthspark figures, we got some listings. We don't know the names of the characters, but we do know there are deluxe class figures already.
Right off the bat. So this could be a sign.
Yep.
Because the deluxe, assuming these are the same deluxe class figures, from Cyberverse, then I think this is a good sign.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on at Hasbro anymore, though.
Neither do I.
What lesson, Chelsea? That the lesson is to make better toys. Yes. A 20-something-year-old Asian guy on the internet is telling a multi-billion-dollar corporation make better toys. At least that's one positive thing. Yay! I hope this work is good.
Same.
I think just to somewhat end this off,
something that gave me a little bit of hope was that they got Danny Pudi to be Bumblebee.
Oh.
Abed from Community.
Abed from Community is Bumblebee. That's hilarious.
Funny enough, Chingus, when we did our comedy series, which is just like a remake of that one episode, like the Christmas special of Community.
Yeah.
We had Bumblebee as Abed.
It all comes full circle. I do want to say this though. This is like an additional 2 cents. At least from my perspective, it feels like this is a weird time for Transformers.
Yeah.
Where there's a lot of things going on, but at the same time, not really. In the sense that it basically feels like there's this uncertainty at the moment. It feels like we don't know what direction they're trying to go for with this franchise. Anything goes. So right now the big thing, of course, is Transformers Legacy, which is their toy line, and I don't know, supposedly they're gonna make another Netflix show. I hope not.
Why?
I don't know. But besides that, Legacy is a big thing. But the whole point of Legacy is supposedly technically, Legacy is supposed to be like this big celebration toy line of like the Transformers as a franchise in general. That's why we got that's why you get quote unquote prime characters in a G1 aesthetic, because this is supposedly a celebration. Now, again, take of it as you will. We've already said our opinions on that, but supposedly, like, the whole thing is like we want to celebrate Transformers by looking back. But it feels like, but at the same time, it's like I don't know what you're trying to do going forward. You want to do Earthspark? Okay, I hope it's good. We got nothing to work with, at least other than Abed's Bumblebee and some. Well, I mean, okay, we do know like the art style and like some of the promotional stuff for that, so there is that. Earthspark's we got more stuff to work with Allspark than the movie, Nick.
Repeat that. I spaced out for a second.
We got more stuff to work with Allspark.
Oh yeah, with Earthspark
than Rise of the Beast.
Rise of the Beast.
So,
Xeno
Depression Code. It's like, so what is the direction you want to take this going forward? Like, do you want to focus on like TV shows? Well, but at the same time, you want to make the movies and all that. But like, what direction do you want to go for? Like, what's your next big thing? And so far, it feels like you got 3 big things going on at the same time. You want to do a show. You got you got Legacy. You got Earthspark, and you got the movie. You got 3 big things they want to build up to. But right now, the prioritization is kind of weird. Like, it's clear they're prioritizing Legacy first. But then again, you have a TV show and a movie coming out next year. Now we know more about the TV show than the movie, but the movie we know nothing about. So it's a kind of a uncertain time. We don't really know what they want to do going forward. What's their next big thing? It's like clearly Cyberverse wasn't their next big thing, because you could tell by how much they cared with the toy line, at least until the very end. So what's your next big thing? You can't just ride on the generation's nostalgia forever. So there's that.
Yeah.
You know, actually, I want to do. You know, actually, I do want to. Maybe next week, we'll see. I want to do a 2 cents on nostalgia, because I think Legacy is actually a good example of what I want to talk about. Just this. Like, it's like, it can't just be me. Like, you guys all know, it's like, there's this weird... I don't know if it's weird, but, like, it feels like nowadays, everything is riding back on nostalgia. Like, it seems like everything nowadays is going, hey, remember this?
It's a natural response. It's kind of a natural response to the cynicism of today. Just like when you mire yourself into this belief that everything nowadays that is being made sucks. So I need to think back to a positive time in my life, which, you know, for a lot of Americans, we're all man children, so like our like that positivity just comes from adolescence and just childhood in general. So like with in regards of things like, you know, Transformers, TMNT, it's always a need and a demand for Generation 1 or 80 stuff, because your highest your market is those who have the money to pay for that.
Oh, more. I just want things. I just want good stuff nowadays. That's all. Well, I guess here's hoping Earthspark turns out to be good. It's got Abed, so there's that.
Yeah.
Okay. I think with that said, then we are done with all our topics. This is actually quite a short 2 cents. We're only 3.5 hours in. That's amazing. Usually we go longer. Well, okay then. Chelsea says, yeah, bring back nostalgia, all of it.
That's kind of the opposite of what we're gonna talk about.
Yeah, that's kind of opposite of what I want to talk about next week. So there's that. Oh, actually, real quick before I do call it, I do have to mention that Chelsea did tip $5, and you know, so anytime someone tips money, you know, I do want to, you know, give a shout out to them. So Chelsea tipped $5, saying, "Womp womp." Heh. Womp womp.
I thought we were doing that thing next week.
Which thing?
Smash or pass.
Oh, that's right.
So the week after,
the week after.
So as a sneak peek about the nostalgia talk, a lot of people are so blind by nostalgia that we can kind of get too excited to ignore like all the bad stuff involved in it. Because there's this quote I always go to about nostalgia. The thing about looking at red flags with rose-tinted glasses is that they all look just like flags. Is that they all just look like regular flags.
Yeah. Alright.
Yes. Oh, I cannot wait for the Smash or Pass one. That's gonna be a fun stream.
Oh my goodness. Wait, so how are we gonna do that? Like, so like how do we show? Like, do we make like a PowerPoint?
Yeah, that's what I was assuming.
Oh, okay. It's like a PowerPoint.
Yeah.
Like a PowerPoint.
We should probably set down the rules and then.
Okay.
At everybody in the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright then. Alright, so with that said, we can call it here. This has been one of the shorter 2-cent streams. This is amazing. Thank you, Chelsea, for the $5. That again goes to Xenonick's PC fund because he needs a new computer. And
Play Elden Ring.
Oh, that's true. I need to play Elden Ring.
No, that wasn't towards you. That was towards anybody listening.
Well, I mean, still,
including you.
Still, I gotta play Elden Ring sometime soon. Okay then. So, with that said, then we can call this stream here. So, thank you, everyone who came. Chelsea, yes, I know you were listening. That's why we love you, Chelsea, and not in that way, of course, because you're Ray's girl. So thank you. So thank you for coming, especially you, Chelsea. And until then, let me turn off that royalty-free jazz. Alright, so until then, we can call it here. Do you guys have any last words to say?
Buy more cards.
Alright.
Ray, if Chelsea tries to do anything for you, try to do anything to you, I'm the one who told her what castrate means, and for that I will never apologize. Also, the mystery accelerates.
Okay. Alright. Nick, any last words?
Bottle! I'm a little bottle!
What the hell is that? It's Snoke! I made Snoke!
Wow, I'm genuinely shocked that it didn't hurt my throat.
Oh. Alright then, so thank you everyone for coming, and I hope you all have a good night. Good night! It's hot.